Hey, we're live tonight on Tuesday, the 26th of 2017. On the panel, we have Patricia from the UK, and Ceres from Holland. And tonight is Stan's Think Tank evening. And over to you. Stan, where are you?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just watching. Yeah, I'm just having a good think, we need to set some goals, achieve some things and move this thing forward, That's what I'm thinking. So this is what I've been thinking. And then make what people are saying impossible, then possible. By making a map using the sky, we can then check Ceres' map against all of our data and just double check everything and make sure it's all working. It's like this is Dubai moon tracking. What we've done, we use a 360 camera and then we just take 30-minute timestamps out of it where the moon was and then stack them up over, make the images to create the paths where the moon had got throughout the time lapse. And then this is the end result. This is one night of moon tracking from Dubai on a full moon. I'm unsure of the days now and everything, but yeah. And if the red line at the top is the north and the blue line at the bottom is the south, so you can tell when you're in the northern or in the southern hemispheres. We'll call them that for now. But what we do, we basically take this image. This is another one, it's just a short track. It's not a full complete track throughout the night, but it's a decent track, this one. Put our scan lines to it, and then when we twist it, it gives us our latitude by the amount of twist we have to put in. The amount of degrees of twist will tell us where we are, and this is what we're trying.
Explain why you wanted this evening as well. Why did you want this evening?
Well, we're at a point now where we've done all that we can do, so to speak. Like, we can do little bits now, but to further this on, we need everyone else to actually get involved now and go out and do what we've been doing, track the moon with these cameras. When Antonio and everyone was doing the sun tracking, the amount of turnout, people turning up and getting involved was phenomenal. There was a lot of people who wanted to get involved and have a go. Now, it's not free, but it's inexpensive and anybody can do this. Like, anybody can do this. So, and then, all we need is the raw data. Like, this is one evening's track again, like a time-lapse video that's been put onto YouTube, and then we've downloaded it from YouTube and created this. If you see this in a VR headset, you will get far much more from this picture than me just showing it to you like this. But what I'm hoping to do is, I've been talking with Zepoxy and Cosmic Surfer, and we'll hopefully have a short video that people can look at on YouTube in their VR headset, and like, you'd be able to pause it and have a good look around in these images, so you won't have to download them. You can just have a look on the YouTube, or you can download it if you want to see it in the higher resolutions and everything, because some of these pictures are 8K. Like, they take a long time to send, just to upload and send these pictures. But this is where we're going, and from this we have an understanding of how to map it. Everyone used to use the sky to travel around the earth, and we lost the information on how to do it, or we lost the know-how. Everyone used to do it.
Everybody could help you. What would you be expecting to see? Just asking. Everybody have that. What happens if everybody has that view? Like 10 miles down the road, someone else has got exactly the same thing as that.
Well, that's what we will see. We will see on the same longitudes, we will see the same, but it'd be the timestamps then we're interested in. What we need is UTC time, which is Universal Time Code. So the time now across the world is now. It's not 9:24 in the UK, and it's not +1 here and +6 there. The time is now, and Universal Time Code at the minute is UK time minus 1 hour. So UTC at the minute is 2024. So my cameras are all running on UTC time code. So they're thinking at the minute it's 2024. Same as the Cosmic Surfers, same as Z-Proxy, same as anyone that I've told to set up a camera. I've told that we need it in UTC, because then we get the longitude. Because if I just blast through a couple of these, great. If we look at this one, the blue line is south. This blue dot and this blue line, that's dead south. The red's north, east, and west. And we've got all of this from this picture. If you look at this in a VR headset, this line will show you where Polaris is. But this is the Isle of Wight. This is my roof, England, and then that's the twist. But then this is the Cosmic Surfer in South Africa, Cape Town, Southern Hemisphere. So if the moon was travelling in circles, like what a lot of people have been led to believe, we wouldn't see this in South Africa. We would see something more like that, you know, and the moon wouldn't really dip.
As I was saying to you before I came on the Hangout, I never thought there was circles up there. I never thought it was just one.
This is what we need now. This is just a real partial track someone's done. Like, I don't even know if they were trying to film the moon. They were just probably testing their camera. But we found it on YouTube, downloaded it. These lines are always within a rule. They always follow a pattern. And just from that, you get where that was. So if we knew the exact location, GPS location, where this camera was, from this, we can then work out if that location is correct or if it needs adjusting to suit. So I say that this is the way to be mapping the Earth from the sky. This is a way we can check everything Ceres is doing. We can, it should all fall together and work. Now, let me go back. So I jumped through a load, didn't I? I think we were here. Same again, just a little partial track. It gives you what you need to know. But what I really want to see is 14-day, or really, it'd be lovely to have it continuous like I do mine. So if ever I say to someone, hey, where's your moon? They're like, well, my video's on YouTube. Here's a link. I download it. Check it out. But for now, 1 day would be sufficient. 14 days would be lovely. Continuous would be out of this world. I'd be so happy.
Didn't someone in the chat room say that? Didn't J-Lo say he had a 360-degree camera? Yeah.
He's going to put it up and have a go at tracking. He's in Scotland, so that'd be a good one to have, because where I'm in the south, right at the bottom of the UK.
Hey, Mike Helmick, how are you? Mike Helmick's joined us now.
Greetings, everyone. Carry on. Carry on.
Hi, Mike. But yeah, this is where we're at. You know, we're now looking at this to get stuff, you know, to get our data. This is where we're down to. We're down to scraps. We need fresh data. As soon as we get some more fresh data from more locations, we can process more and keep going. Really, it'd be lovely to have everyone doing this. There's so many flat earthers now, you know, there's so many people in this community. People with means, you know. This is to do what I've done and do a track. You can do it for about £100. You know, you can be set up and you're tracking. Then I've been tracking now for almost 10 months, I'd say. I track the sun, the moon, everything. Venus shows up on my camera. That's what some of these little dots are planets like Venus, and it does show the odd star, you know, these cameras. But really, all I'm interested in is the moon. If you can, if everyone in the chat, if they can actually do this, you know, start tracking, collecting data, we will have so much to show. It would be mind blowing, you know. For this to progress, we need others now.
Dan,
I'm saying this. Go, Patricia.
Just going to ask you, Dan, is there any other way you can do it than putting it on your roof?
Well, yeah, as long as you can get a rise or a set, that's the bet. That's the key, really, is having it come, you know, one side or the other. If you can get just a partial track's better than no track. That's what I said with this one here. Look, that's literally nothing. That's no bit of that's like an hour's worth of footage, an hour and a half's worth of footage, if that. And from that, we've managed to work out that, you know, everything we need to really know. But to actually say this was 100%, you would want the full 14 days so you could see top to bottom. But from this, from the timestamp and date, I could go back to my footage and cross-reference and check where the moon, what scan line the moon is on. You following? So I can check everything from my data to make sure no one's feeding us baloney.
Can you explain why that picture looks like that?
Because we've twisted it to tell us our latitude. This is it untwisted. This is how the moon is in your sky. If you're stood, like, you've got to imagine this picture joins from this side to this side. It's wrapped around you, and then the bottom, you know, the top's joined, like the center is there. And it's just when you're in the VR headset. This is why I say, if people need to have a VR headset to really understand what I am showing, well, this work's going. The VR headset is one of the ultimate tools for what the work for flat Earth. Especially if we can put like Series' map and stuff in VR, it'd be awesome. That's what we will have in the end. You will have a fully working model, but it will be only working in VR, because that's the only way you can really show it. You can't show the sky. That's why everyone shows the sky and the moon circling round in the dome, because you can't show it I can't show you this on without a VR headset, basically. So
all the magnetic lines are completely tying into this.
Yeah, they will. They should do. Like, we should be out. We should lay this across your map, and it'd just be like, wow, man. It'll either work or it won't. It'd be instant. Like, it should be like a light switch. It'll work or it won't. You'll know instantly if it works.
The GPS latitude value is only worked out through a wave function, and that is kind of twisted in the center, stretched, and in the top is that completely pushed into each other. But where then the actual center is 90 degrees above you, the polar center, or in the south the center, where that position actually is, that still to be figured out. If you ask me, that's way beyond the pillars. And that's already just before the acid curve.
Well, yeah, underneath the pole star, you should see the lines should be flat with the horizon. This should be flat. There shouldn't be no twist. That should literally go level.
Yeah, if you go far enough.
Yeah, if you go literally bang underneath that pole star, so the pole star would be literally dead above you. You would have a 24-hour sun that is true, right?
I'm just so pleased. All the times when everybody kept saying that the stars are going round in circles and all those stupid star trails on all those cameras, I knew it wasn't correct because of the way the Big Dipper goes round my house.
Yeah, but they do go round in circles in a way, but just not how people perceive it.
Yeah.
It's something
Not
else. That's what this picture's about, wherever it was. This one, you got people, it's a globe curvature, it's flat perspective, and then there's me in the middle going research 360 moon. I'm with stupid. Yeah, it's neither. There's something else. That's what I've been saying to people, like, for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months now. It's not what you've been led to believe. That's just, unless
you know what someone said one day? I can't remember who it was. I can't remember who it was now. It might have been Tyson or something. They said that they only put 3 pictures in their cameras and it made a complete circle. Well, how can it do it with just 3 pictures? Well, you needed minutes of it. So I just knew that those cameras weren't telling the truth.
But this is basically tracking from the cheapest 360 camera you can get. This is a panel view. It was, I think I paid £70 for it almost a year ago. It took me about 6 weeks to work out what the hell I was even doing with it, because I was just a complete novice, I didn't have a clue. I literally sat there for 6 nights to upload my first video, But anyone now doing it, I can just go, yeah, this is how you do it, and straight away you're doing it. You're uploading. I've done all the hard stuff of working out how it works. But this is literally, you can get these cameras now for £40-50 on eBay, and that's what I created with a £40-50 camera. Like, as far as I'm aware, me, Z Proxy, and the Cosmic Surfer are the only 3 people to have, well, like general public, to have 360 moon tracking from 3 different locations, like the full 14 days. Because you see, this is 14 days, but it's broken because obviously the sun was up here, so you can't see until the sun's gone down, and then you just see the last bit of moon. But down here, it was like the full moon, so you got a decent track. This is what Dave Marsh, he should be using one of these to track and race the moon. This just takes all the work out of it for him. All he does is put his camera up, walk away, week later, go empty the thing, have a look at what he's got, sit down then and then work it out, rather than being out in the garden all the time, watching, filming, writing down stuff, trying to work it all all out, keep on top of it. This thing, you can just rewind time, have a look. Oh yeah, that's where it was. How long did that take to go from there to there? Bang, work it out, done. Takes all the work out of it. And it shows you actually what is happening.
Yeah, it's probably also going to show how the north and the south are actually bending towards that particular circle, and then the straight line in the middle of the equator.
Yeah, this is what we need to. This is why we need more data from everywhere, so we can then, like I say, put it across your map and work out exactly how it's working. Because at the minute we have a good idea how it's working, but it is not confirmed. It needs confirming, and confirming means going out, collecting the data, putting the effort in, being dedicated, you know, which is not that hard. It just means getting up, going out, buying a camera, or even sitting there now, get your phone out, look on eBay, type in 360 camera. They're one button push. You put it to time-lapse mode, you put it on the highest resolution, put your card in it, plug it in, push record and walk away. It's done.
And that's all in the camera itself?
Yeah, you won't get these star ones off of them. These are high-grade cameras. But if you look at these, the stitching's not 100%. Whereas like this one is just a single lens, so there's no stitching. It just works.
Yeah.
This one is the most simplest one and cheapest one to use. Really, though, we would like to see VR, like Samsung gear, because you can take an 8K. If I shoot that's what this is an 8K picture from my 360 with the 4K tracking. That's the cheap Panaview camera just there, and I've nipped up on the roof with my tripod, held the other camera up next to that camera and snapped a pic with my 8K, and then we've put the 8K as the backdrop. If you look really close, you can see the tree lines. There's just a bit of, we can't get it absolutely spot on, like for lining it up, but it's pretty damn close, you know.
Dave Marsh has joined us now. Hello, Dave Marsh.
Hello, how are you doing all? Carry on, don't mind me. I'll pick it up as you go on.
Well, Stan, just explain it again then, because this is Stan's night. But just explain it again, because Mike wasn't here at the beginning and Dave wasn't here at the beginning.
I'm just saying
if you don't mind.
Well, this is. I'll tell you about this one again, Dave. But this is the cheapest 360 camera you can basically buy. It's a Panaview. They're about £50 on eBay if you have a look. Just type in 360 camera, and the one that comes up's a Panaview. But if you leave it out recording all the time, this takes all of your moon race work out. You know, it takes all the hard work away. It literally tracks the moon all the time, and all you got to do then is go back and process it, which is what we're doing.
Cool. I may need to borrow some of that visualization if you don't mind at a later date.
Yeah, definitely. I'll send you. I'm happy to send any of these pictures to people to view if they want to view them. That's what I really want, is people to view them in the VR so they can get a true understanding of what I'm showing.
How far away is Dave from you, Stan? Where you at, Stan?
I'm on the Isle of Wight.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a few hundred miles away.
Yeah. So we would have a difference in sky. We would note it. If you put a 360 up, I was speaking to Jay. It is Jay, isn't it, Karen? In the chat. And he's putting one up, and he's in Scotland. So if there was you, me and Jay, we've then got the whole of the UK top to bottom covered, you know, top, middle and bottom. And then we will be able to work out from there how much it's moving on the latitude, you know, because we can measure between me and you. They can't really lie about that too much, can they, like that? I wouldn't have thought. But even if they are lying about it, this will show it straight away. That's what I'm saying. From the sky, we can now confirm everything. Now Ceres has got a map and we're doing this, we can put the two together. Now we know how they're tied and check, and then you can't argue it. But we're at a point now where I'll show you this is where we've been processing, because this is what we got to, scraps. We need more fresh input. But even from that, see, Dave, we're getting that, which tells you where this camera was, because these lines always, they follow, they're always this, you know, you just pull them up and push them down.
Yeah, got you.
And then you just twist it, and then that gives you your degrees of twist on the image, which gives you your position.
Yeah, it's cool. Did it take like a little time lapse of each?
Yeah, I've got mine going 24/7. It's been going now for about 10 months up on my roof. This picture here was 14 days of tracking just the moon. And what I done was every day, like when we were first doing it, every day I would stop the camera, take the chip out, upload it, send it to Z Proxy. It then processed that one day, next day, same thing. And we've done that for 14 days to create this, what you see.
Which basically covers it from tropic to tropic.
Yeah, but that is over 14 days, and then we timestamp it every time that I start the upload, so then we can keep tabs. Do you follow? So I can, with the timestamp, I can work out longitude. We work out the latitude by the twist, and the timestamp gives us the longitude.
So Stan, each of those moons, are they from different cameras, and you guys combine these?
No, that's my camera. This picture is just my picture, and what it is each. You see where my cursor is? That is one evening of moon. It travels how it travels. If I turn it, if I go back to this one, each one is a day, is the moon going around. So it's 14 days. So day 1 it's down here, look. Day 2 it appear there. Day 3, day 4, 5, so on and so on for the 14 days, and then it starts tracking back, and then it just goes back.
Yeah,
and then
you could just do some perfect clear nights, couldn't you? To get a really good thing. I can imagine nice, are they?
Yeah, this proves alone you're not on a spinning ball, because the sun and the moon are both in this same scan line. The sun goes from there in the summer to there in the winter. There in the summer, there in the winter.
Yep.
So if they're saying that the globe has a tilt of this much and that much, well, the moon would be going twice as much as what the sun's doing, wouldn't it? Do you follow? Because the Earth would be moving, so therefore the moon would, because you couldn't have the moon up here when the sun's down here. Do you get me? Because the Earth would have tilted. The moon would have to be up here. Yeah,
because it's actually aligned with the Earth's ecliptic and the actual equatorial plane of the actual Earth. Yeah.
So this can more conflict with their model. This just proves it again that it's not a ball. Look at the horizon line. How flat do you want it?
Do they claim that the moon moves with the Earth's tilt at 23.5 degrees, or do they claim that the Earth tilts without the moon kind of following it along?
I think in the heliocentric model, what it is, when the moon's high on the Tropic of Cancer, on the heliocentric model, it's nothing to do with the actual distance of the moon. It's to do with that 5 degrees inclination or declination. That's how they say it's high on the Tropic of Cancer. It's due to that 5 degrees inclination. And obviously when it's low on the Tropic of Capricorn, that's due to the declination of the 5 degrees. Nothing to do with distances. Like in reality, we know as flat earthers that when a celestial object is closer to us, it will appear higher in the sky. And when it's further away, it will appear lower on the horizon. But that's how they get away with it. They're just using math, you see. That actual 5 degree inclination is just maths what's been put in to make the model work as well as the distances.
It's a good one, right? This blue dot here, Dave, that shows you south, yeah? The red dot over here on the end, obviously you've got to remember this edge here joins this edge here. So this red dot and that red dot are the same. That's north. This line here will show you where Polaris is in your sky. That is where I put this on, stand in my garden, take it off, Polaris is there.
Yeah, got you.
Right, east, west.
And blue is south.
Yeah, also one to note, the red is north. When it's up the top, the red, and the blue's at the bottom, you're in the northern hemisphere, right? This is South Africa, Cape Town. It's all the other way around now. You're looking north, yeah?
Yeah.
South's behind you, and your scan lines are upside down. And also, when my moon, is on the blue, his moon's on the blue. So when it's low in the sky for me, it's dead eye in the sky for him.
Yeah, I've got some interesting data what'll probably help you along, because I've been doing the meridian passing of the moon. I've calculated a full year of data onto a spreadsheet with all the deviations and deltas, and I've also done a full month with every single day from 3 different separate locations. One from the UK, one from Ushuaia in Argentina, and one from a place in Indonesia, smack bang on the equator, with some interesting results as well.
Yeah.
So I included all the declination angles as well, so you've got all the actual altitude of the actual moon on them readings as well.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is this is where we are at now. We're waiting for more input. We need everyone now to go out and get a VR headset. Basically, that's your first first step. Second step is to get involved and start tracking this, because I can't do this. I can only do so much from here. Like you, same with you, Dave. If you put a camera up now, you get me that, I can work out this for you. But then we need the next person. We need the next person. You follow me? I need.
Yeah, go ahead.
If the equator position is actually also making this line exactly 90 degrees on the horizon.
It would be on the equator.
And on the equator, you would see these lines. Yeah, you would see this literally come round, dip straight down, and then back up. And then, yeah, like you say, then just not. This is just shy of the equator.
Yeah, that part is then 90 degrees on the horizon.
But on the dead equator, you would see literally 90 degrees. Like I was saying, on the underneath the pole star, you would see these lines would just be dead flat with the horizon. So 6 months of the year, you wouldn't have any sun. It would be beneath the horizon. And this is the same in the southern hemisphere as well. That's what I've just shown you there. That proves it. You get the same effect in the south. If you keep going south, look, south's behind you, the blue dot. If you keep heading behind you, you're going to push that sucker down until the point where it comes down in, and then you get a 24-hour sun or your 24-hour moon. You will get both. You get them north and south.
Yes, you would, because but the moon would only be for like a couple of days because it shifts so fast between tropics.
Yeah,
it only lasts a few days.
Well, yeah, I believe you'd have 5 to 7 days, depending on
how far south or north you were.
Yeah, I've done nothing but think about this, you know.
Yeah, it gets the old cogs turning, doesn't it?
But this is where we've got to now. Look, people, we need you. I need like Argentina. I need the world on them cameras.
Yeah, I've got a friend who's confirmed to me that they do get 18 hours daylight in Ushuaia. I found him in Flat Earth, Chile, when I was scoping for somebody from that region, and he confirmed yes, they do have a pole star, and it does turn. The stars do turn the opposite way to they do on the north, and like I say, confirmed on the summer solstice that they have 18 plus hours daylight.
That was my first question to the Cosmic Surfer: was have you got a pole star or a pole point, something that the stars turn round? And he went, yes, I do. And it was like, well, it can't be a dome then. It's not all spinning around a central point, is it? And that's when I started saying, right now we need to figure out if this is going in a straight line and a curve, what the hell's the moon doing? And then that's when the 360 come available, and then it all sort of it was like it was meant to be, you know. Proxy was the first one to start with this. And then between us all, we've sat down and worked out what the hell's going on. But what I'm showing you all, you still have no true understanding until you put that VR headset on. Is the time when you go, wow, yeah, shit, man, I see what's going on.
Won't it work with Google Cardboard?
It might. I use a Samsung VR Gear, an Oculus one, like the 2017, I think, or 2016 or 15. It's the white one with my Samsung S7 phone. But I know you can get it for the S6 and stuff.
I'm just thinking about Google Cardboard because I watched a film, Susie's Brothers, in 3D, and I got the 3D effect just from the Google Cardboard, if you know what I mean. Whether it'd be good enough, I'm not sure, but it looked pretty good.
Obviously, we're going to progress from what we're doing now. We're thinking way beyond what I'm telling you now. Like, this is just a snippet. To really keep up, you need the VR headset, because you can model everything in it, and then you can go and stand outside on a hill and take it with you, put it on your head, have a look around, and then take it back off, and then put it back on. And then in your VR, you can draw lines on it. You can then go. That's what I'm showing you here with these pictures. You can then go and stand in this location with your VR headset with the moon up here, put this picture on, line yourself up correct, and then just be like, it's real. That is how it's working.
Yeah, you can actually look around.
Yeah, and then from here, we're hoping to have a map where you can jump from location, and all this will move as you're moving. Say if I start rolling back, this will all start dragging around, and everything will move as I'm moving. But I can only show you a video like what Karen put up the other day with the scan lines of me recording it in the VR. But even then, you're not experiencing it. You're experiencing my experience. So you need to experience it yourself for true understanding, which goes to this. Knowledge is nothing without understand. Yeah,
it might be worth getting one of them Google Cardboards, because I reckon you could pick them up for about £7 on Amazon. Just to try it.
I paid 25 quid for my Oculus second hand, and I already had my phone on contract. So it cost me, my cheap camera was £70, but they've come down since then. I bought a really decent Lexar card for it, a 32 gig card, because of the high speed. You need quite a high speed for these cameras, otherwise they don't always copy all the data and they crash when they're saving. But you'll be able to use an 8 gig one. I use a ScanDisk one in my Samsung Gear, and it works well.
I picked up an ultra fast one from Sainsbury's the other day for $14.99. It's 64 gig ultra speed, or the fastest one they do. Like, it was half price, so I grabbed it.
That's what I mean. So you can, if you're clever about this stuff, you can pick up all this stuff cheap. Like, I bought my cheap camera brand new, but my Samsung Gear, I only had it a little while, and I paid £150 for it, and knew they were 400 quid. And then with my Oculus, I paid £25 for it second hand. You know, just keep an eye out. Don't want to buy rubbish, but just if it looks like it's been well looked after and it's still sat there in a box, like, what's the harm in second hand? You know,
a lot of these contracts, when you get the phone now, they chuck in the Oculus headsets in there, and if people don't want them, then they just bang on eBay or Amazon, won't they?
Yeah. So yeah, they just sell them on, and that's it. You can get a lot of cheap things on there. You know, Cosmic Surfer, he bought the one up from me, and he got it for €40, like brand new in a box still. So you can get deals, you know. And someone might just have a phone that they've just been sent new on contract they don't want, that you can get. Just, you don't actually need the headset yourself at the second. You just need to be able to get in one and have a look, just see what I'm showing you, you know.
Yeah, I look forward to getting something like that and see if we can see what we can see in there.
Well, this is what I was saying though. It just turns I can't do that. I don't know where. I don't know. We know now, so we can. I can. If people collect the data, we can do this. You know, we don't need anyone to show us how anymore. We can do it ourselves. We've got the technology available. 2 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to do what we're doing now. Not on a budget, you know. But now you can create everything that we're doing with a £70 camera, and then, like I say, you can borrow a VR headset just to have a look. That goes back to like tonight, setting goals. You know, we need people. We need people now. We need to be moving forward. We're stuck. We need to set some goals. Like, we need this country, we need that country. It's like all this scanline stuff. I'm trying to get it translated into Greek and stuff at the minute. So then we get more people, you know, because there's us lot, there's more. They just don't speak our language. So we need to get others that can speak our language to then translate all of this over, so then they have an understanding of what we're showing. It's all about understanding. There's no point collecting all this data if you don't understand what the hell you're doing. That goes like back to this, you know, it all points to the goal. The goal is the end product. You need your motivation, your planning, determination, your vision of what you're doing, and strategy, and then you'll achieve your goal. You just need determination's the most important thing.
Time helps as well.
Yeah, but that's what I say, Dave. These cameras, you set it up, mate. Like on a Sunday, you know, you got the afternoon, you go and set it up. It takes you an hour or two to get it plugged in, set up properly, and then you push the button, and then next Sunday you go over to it and go, better have a look at that. Or if you're like me, every evening you're out there going, I'm gonna have a look, see what was going on last night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we can work with raw data, basically. You can just pull the card out of the camera, upload it to YouTube. It don't even have to be. It's just, when it's raw, you just see the two circles, or a circle, depending on how many lenses you got. And we can work with that, you know?
Yeah, good stuff.
We just need the actual data. And like I say, it goes back to, it was impossible because we're all trying to triangulate and track something that we didn't know how to track. And now we know how to track it. It's now possible to map that to the ground, and we can do it from here. You know, the Moon Group, we should be setting the standard now. Like, we're researching all the time, but we now need the people watching to now become part of this and actually go and do the research as well.
Yeah, and that's why we're having this evening, isn't it, as well, Stan?
That's it. You know, everyone can. You know, there's those that can and there's those that do. So everyone can, but they just choose not to, you know. They're like, oh, I can't, or I can't, or I can't. I do, you know. I could have just kept going, oh. Instead, I was like, man, I just want to know, you know.
It's like I said before, like, even if you can't afford to buy the equipment, even even if you've just got like a cheap app on your camera, you can do it just to, you know, get some readings of the moon and feed it into somewhere. I know that obviously Karen Sun and Moon Group take a lot of readings, and like I say, you can contribute just by doing that. So it's not a matter, if you can't afford a camera yet. In the meantime, what you could do is just take some readings. You know what I mean? Sun and Moon.
Well, not that. You could, you know, that as well, Dave. Or you could have 3 or 4 mates. You know, they're like me, C-Poxy, and the Cosmic Surfer. We're all chatting. If we couldn't afford a camera between us each, we could have bought one between us, and then I could have tracked for 14 days, then sent it to him through the post. He could have done it, and then sent it on. You know, and people could, you know, there's ways to do stuff. These cameras are 50 quid. If 5 people chucked a tenner in each, you know, that's a camera. And then 14 days, send it on.
So asking Mike Helmick, do you know people with 360 cameras in America?
No, I don't. I'm just wondering. What we're seeing is the camera's picking up a light from the moon, but the light has to travel through a medium, and that medium is our electromagnetic wave that covers Earth, and that wave changes the light that we see from the moon to the perspective of the observer. And so I'm kind of wondering, because the wave on the polarity switch on equatorial center, it does this, and so I'm wondering that polarity is going to change the positioning of how we see the sun and moon. It's also that polarity that flips them in the southern hemisphere. So are you guys taking into account the polarity switch and the how light propagates the electromagnetic field?
Yeah, we're working from your perspective, basically, Mike. This is how they used to travel the Earth. You know, it was using the sky. What I'm showing you, it works because they used to do it. It wouldn't work if, you know, is it an astrolabe?
Astrolabe, yeah. Astrolabe. In the 2nd century.
Yeah, well, they have worked forever. And that's because your stars are they work because of your stars are over a flat Earth, and they worked out how like we've worked out, but we're doing it with 360 cameras. They done it manually using astrolabe.
Yeah, and can I just say, it's all gone beans. I've just presented you.
It's because I was doing a bloody
okay. So then what you're saying, Stan, is our electromagnetic field is consistent and is able to be counted on for like guiding ships or finding positions, right?
This works. That's what I'm telling you, Mike. It works.
Okay.
Like what I'm showing, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if I wasn't 100% that we could do this.
Okay, well, I haven't tracked it. There's something that keeps the moon projection in its position consistently. So I was kind of wondering.
I'm not sure above this. You know, like all I'm saying is this is how it works to you for your.
I don't think anybody can speak about it being above us, can they? Because, like I say, we can only do what we can see. You know, like all my observations, I can only do what I can observe. I can't go above the atmosphere and observe the moon or anything like that. So we have to do what we have with the tools we have, kind of thing. That's how I look at it.
But this you'll be able to see if it's not working on a map. You'll be able to see it straight away. And this is what I'm saying. Like we can then like Ceres' map and like for the hell of it, the AE map and even the globe, you know, and everything. We can plot all of this stuff on. Even old Stevie's concave ball, you know, he can himself take my work and try and make it work on his concave ball. Everyone, you know, this is how it is above your head.
Okay, so if you were to do the same time next year, the moon would follow the same exact path. Is that correct?
It would be the exact same path, but what you would be, because of the sinusoidal day, which is 29.5 days, and the cycle 27 days, what you'll find is you get the moon in the exact same position on a regular cycle, but the phases will change with the moon. Yeah. And obviously the day and night will change as well, obviously with a changing speed. So the cycle is consistent, and I think it's about an 18.5 or 19-year cycle until you can get the same moon in the exact same position.
Yeah. Basically, the moon would be full here, like this. You can see it was a full moon here because it's a full track, whereas down here the sun was up because it's only the last bit of the track, so you had to wait for the sun to go down. down, or the sun was coming up as the moon was going down. So you only got, do you follow? You only got the last bit. So then you have the full moon here this time, but then next time it could be here, and then it's like Dave was saying, you know, there's the moon's weird, isn't it? Like
basically when you have a full moon, when the sun is high on the Tropic of Cancer, the full moon will always be low on the Tropic of Capricorn. Then as the sun gets southern declination, the next full moon will match it pretty close on the same opposite latitude. And then as the sun gets to the equator, the next full moon will be quite near the equator. Then there'll be a switching point where the sun will head south for winter. But when it gets to winter point, the next full moon will be high on the Tropic of Cancer, and it literally matches it for latitude. You've seen my presentation before. I've been through it here quite a few times.
Yeah, but I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not looking at that. I'm just wanting 14 days of track, because that will show me these lines edge to edge. You know, as long as you start, when we say, right, it's at the northernmost scan line, set your camera up, push play, or it's at the southernmost scan line, and then leave it for 14 days, you'll get this. And then you can even leave it a month and it'll just go back, you know, it just goes up and down all the bloody time. That's what's that's. But then, like you were saying, Dave, it's like it does change where its full moon is in the scan line, you know.
It'll drop each time, like I say. It'll match the sun on opposite latitudes every time.
These are the best two pictures at the minute to share.
And what you will find as well, Stan, is that the moon doesn't quite get as high on the tropics as the sun, or low on the tropics as the sun either. It falls short of about 5 degrees either side. So you will get a little bit of deviation between sun and moon as well when they're high on the tropics. And another interesting point is the moon does deviate a little bit past its point on the odd occasion, because I've been building up quite a bit of data for a full year. And when it does do that, so say if it normally greets you on the highest point on Cancer at say 60 degrees, if it creeps up to 58 degrees on Greek, it'll take up to like 25 hours to get to the same point next night. It really slows down on the Tropic of Cancer, which is quite an interesting point. It's only got to deviate by a couple of degrees, and it slows down quite significantly.
But that's
only does that every doesn't do that very often. Like, it only deviates on occasions. It's like a random occasion. It's not like every other month. It's like very random, like when it does it.
But like a camera, this will record all that. It will. You know, you will have it all as long as you can see the moon. If you're
dropping like 15 degrees on the sun every day, there just by how it's rising. See how it's getting further and further.
Yeah, that's what I say. The moon takes big steps every day. You know. Yeah,
very very small steps near the tropics. So it basically deviates a couple of degrees, like in latitude. When it gets to its furthest point thing, it'll probably go from 14 degrees to 13.5, then back to 14, then 14.5, then it'll start doing the big jumps back up the tropics kind of thing.
But this would be my end goal for everyone, to have this picture from their roof or wherever they can get a picture from, you know, even if it's, like I say, look at this was taken from inside a window, you know, look, you can see the edge of the window, that's the window frame, so you can do it, that's half a track, but it still gives us everything we need because you've got the set. Or if we had the rise, you know, it doesn't matter, or, you know, as long as you've got a bit for us to play with, we can work it out. But this is what I would love for everyone to have, is this, and then from this we can then process the map to double check everything. This would be my goal, and everyone have a VR headset with this image that they've created themselves.
Well, then we need some from the southern hemisphere.
That is the southern hemisphere. That's South Africa.
Cosmic Surfers in South Africa, isn't it?
That is his picture. That camera I bought off of eBay, wrapped it up and sent it to him in the post because he couldn't get them there. So that's, if someone out there is having trouble getting one, just message me, send me your money, I'll wrap it up and I'll put it in the post. You know, I ain't gonna rip anyone off because I want to know. And I ain't like that anyway. You know what I'm saying? We have made no money from this. We have spent money to do what we've done, and I don't want no money. I'm not asking for anyone to make it, like, to give me any money. I'm just saying I want that data. I want the info. You know, we can't do this without the people now. I'd love to have enough money to get in a van, put a 360 camera on the roof, travel around, stop up for 14 days, film the moon, another 14 days, film the moon, you know, travel all around. But I can't physically do it. I'd be dead before I collected everything I needed to know.
All right, so what's the ultimate goal? What are you trying to find out here?
Trying to build a map from the sky, Mike.
Okay, so get some kind of idea of the shape of the Earth then.
This will tell you everything. It'll tell you how much more there is to the north, how much more there is to the south. It'll tell you everything.
It's kind of a navigation guide for how to actually navigate over the square.
Exactly. The sky was given as a navigation tool. That was how.
Okay. What's Cosmic's latitude in South Africa?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know if he's in the thing. He's probably listening, so he might.
Is he in Cape Town?
Yeah, he's in Cape Town.
Yeah, I would probably say down past 35 degrees, something like that.
We keep trying to get him up Table. Is it Table Mountain? I want him to take his 360 up there, but he's not playing ball. But yeah, this is what we need. Like with this, we can create everything we need to know. You know, if you know where you are, you know, if I says to you, Mike, right, if you give me all this data and I say to you, what's your GPS codes? And you go, blah, 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 that's your GPS codes because you know where you are. And then we'd check that on the sky. It's like my GPS codes don't match my sky. Where they tell me I am, I'm not there. Not according to this.
Yeah, this one looks really the other way around.
Yeah, this is north.
So are you saying that are wrong?
You what, mate? Say again, Mike.
Are you saying our GPS is messed up somehow?
I'm saying they're lying to us where we are. Like they've moved. Like, I'm more to the north than what they're telling me. I think I can't remember. This was so long ago, but it was not right. I can't remember exactly how I'm not right. I haven't marked it down, but we're not right.
It's same with the south. The furthest populated place in the south is Ushuaia, which is it's only at 54 degrees latitude south. You know what I mean?
Well, look at Cosmic.
60, you're at the Antarctic.
Look at the Cosmic's scan lines, and then look at mine, and we're roughly the same. You know?
Yeah, its latitude's further towards the equator than yours. That's why it's appearing higher in the sky. That's what's happening in there.
So that's what I say. I'm further north than what they'd say. Only a little bit, but when you twist it like this, it gives you your degrees for longitude, latitude.
Can I just say, I sort of understand because the way the Big Dipper goes round, although I'm not quite in the middle, so we're not quite north, but the way the Big Dipper goes round.
Well, when I went up to Cumbria the other week, I went up there and done a track day on my motorbike, and being me, everyone else is out drinking in the evening, and I'm stood there at the van looking at the sky, thinking, that's changed. That ain't usually above my head. I've never seen that above my head.
Yeah, it changes quite quickly, doesn't it? It's surprising if you only have to go a little bit north and you can see a lot more different stars. Same when you go a little bit south too. I bet if I went down to where you are, I'd be seeing stars that I don't recognise.
Yeah, that's because it moves all the time. As you're moving, with every step you take, it moves just the tiniest bit. Just a little bit, but it does move.
Yeah, because I'm a back garden researcher as well. I only recognise the stars on my back garden kind of thing and all.
Yeah, that's what I was like. And then when I went up there, I was like, hang on a minute, that's above my head. That's never been above my head. So I must be like, I've gone quite a bit north for that to happen, and I just sat around in the van just thinking about it all nights because I still hadn't quite worked it out then.
What was your elevation when you saw that?
What, in Cumbria?
Right, you're saying you saw some things maybe you shouldn't have seen up in the sky at that time. What was your elevation?
Oh no, I should have seen them. Like you will see them. It's like Dave says, the more you when you move. I'm not sure if elevation has any change on this at all.
What it is when you're looking at the sky in your back garden night after night after night after night, you get used to seeing the stars in the same position. Then when you go to an open area where you're not used to, when it's quite a big open area, you recognise stars maybe a little bit further south on the horizon, what you don't normally see, like from your position. You've got your houses and stuff around you, so there is certain parts where you never actually see when you're on your back garden. Because, like I said, I've only been looking at the skies for like last year and a half, so it's still pretty new to me. But I do recognise like the majority of the stars on my backyard. I can name majority of them. But like I say, when I went camping, I looked in the sky, I was seeing stuff that I didn't recognise. If you know what I mean, that's a great one.
Can I just say, when I went to Denmark, I was really surprised that the Big Dipper was so different. Like, it goes around my house here, but when I went to her house, I had to go down, like, she's got like a field. I had to go down the field to see it, whereas it goes around my house.
So there'd be an easy way of testing elevation as well for you, Mike. You could put your camera on the top of the Dubai Tower here on a little pole sticking out over the edge, so you get it directly above one on the ground. Hit them both to record a full lapse of the the moon, and you would see if there was any change. Because
who took that one? That's a great shot. That one.
That was just on YouTube. It was just a full moon time lapse from Dubai Tower.
Okay. Well, I got some things to share that Chris Monk and I have been looking at. If that's okay. Not objections, just some things to keep in mind.
All I'm saying though, Mike, is I'm not saying what's above this. I'm not saying what's projected in it. I'm not saying anything like that. All I'm saying is this is how it works. This is how it's going.
Right.
This is how you're getting a southern 24-hour sun and a northern 24-hour sun. This is how it is.
Right, from those observation points. I understand that. So that I mean that's good. That's good. If I can share this though, I'll show you what you guys are tracking. That'll be all right.
Yeah, I'll stop presenting that. I've stopped now.
I'll try to just share the folder application window. Okay, this is the moon above the cloud layer. Is everybody looking at this?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the moon above the cloud layer.
Oh, no, hang on.
The file list, you have the file list instead of the image view.
You don't see a picture?
No, you reshare and then share the image viewer.
So I got to open them up first?
Yeah, open first and then open the share.
Okay, that's the other work. I just want to share a link. All right, we'll try it again. And everybody in chat, you might want to look at this because I'm going to show you something pretty amazing. All right, application window. Now I don't see my application.
The picture up first and then go to the application and it should come up then in another box.
Okay, there we go. Now am I sharing?
Yeah.
Okay, what you're looking at here is the moon over Spain. Now we know the moon is closer to equator center. This balloon is 38,000 feet. The moon's sitting on top of the cloud layer, propagating light below. On a globe Earth, if you were 100,000 feet, your max view distance would be 349 miles, simply because of the curvature. Would eventually you'd lose your eyes. And on a curvature on a flat Earth, the view would be supposedly forever, as long as your camera could see far enough. However, the moon at this position is no more than 150 miles away from the camera of this balloon, the moonlight object itself. Okay, so the moon apparently looks very close. Now, the moon's not actually there. If you were in this balloon, you cannot actually go to the moon. It is a projected light from somewhere else. Here the moon is again. It's sitting on top of the cloud layer, and the light from the moon is shown on the cloud layer beneath. Now, this is not the reflection of the sun, because if you were to bounce a light off an object at 238,000 miles away, you're not going to get light bouncing off that object back on Earth that bright. So the moon, or the said position of the moon, is actually sitting on top of the cloud layer in that balloon shot. If we were to filter the moon out, and this camera had filters on both sides, immediately our moon object turns into a small point light or a projection light, and it flare. It's impossible to cause a flare off a secondary object, especially since the moon is supposed to be a porous rocky surface. So this tells us that the moon is actually a projected light from above. And the reason why it's so bright is because it's not being filtered through our atmosphere. If we were to see this below, we'd see the moon in a different position, but we would see the face of the moon. So this is a projection light from somewhere. And here it is, leaving a flare in the camera lens. So it's giving off a very powerful light from its projected view. And that's why I'm asking this magnetic field here. The way we see things, everything we see has to come through our magnetic field. And depending on the wave frequency, light has its own spectrum that our icons are able to see. As you can see here, we can see, our eyes can pick up this wave spectrum. And so, but this wave spectrum has to propagate itself through the magnetic field. And depending where you're at in our magnetic field, that's what causes the rotation of both the sun and the moon. Simply because this wave frequency coming through our magnetic field changes the orientation. The sun and moon are not actually rotating. It's just as they move across us, the way we're getting this, our light is different at different angles through our electromagnetic field. And this is why the moon looks right above us here on top of the cloud layer, simply because from our height observation and its projection in the magnetic field. So when you guys are tracking the object as a physical object, you should get the same observations as everything's working correctly. But if you're trying to do this to somehow come up with a map, then you have to understand what you're tracking is a projected object on top of our cloud layer on our surface, you're actually looking at a spotlight. That's what you're tracking, and we know this because we can filter out the moon. We see the projection spot of the moon, and we don't know how far away that is, but we do know it causes a flare in the camera, so it is extremely, extremely bright. And when we get it off the filter, we get this effect here. And so we have a projection and then a light projection. Our sun actually works the same way. It is a light projection that's able to radiate heat and electromagnetic waves on below. And so when we're like, how far up is the moon? Well, the moon can be 38,000 feet above you from projection height, and so can the sun. And this is why we catch the sun underneath clouds, and why people take pictures of the sun, in airplanes, and it's underneath them, underneath the cloud layer. And this is why, like Karen and I, Stan or David, we could all sit on a beach somewhere and get a different light projection across the water, simply because we're standing in slightly different locations in Earth's magnetic field. And so when you're taking camera 360s with VR, what you're getting is only a projection from that your viewpoint from that place in our electromagnetic field. And this is why the sun and moon appear different to each observer depending on where they're standing.
God, just so much. I had thought that would have.
That may be a lot to take in, Stan, but that's how it works.
Wow, it's still from your perspective, like that camera.
It is, absolutely. So if you guys have a consistent perspective, that's awesome. But the only problem is, since it is a perspective from a wave variance, and that variance is depending on your observation point, I'm kind of wondering, it can't be triangulated, and I'm wondering if that's going to help with the Earth map. That's all.
You'll never triangulate the moon.
Yeah, just to let you, this is some.
No matter how high you go, you won't triangulate that moon. I'm telling you now.
If you could see the moonlight in that spot up there. I know that footage is taken from that Spanish university.
From Spain University.
Yeah, and basically they did use an overexposed camera to bring out the stars, ready to catch the meteor storm. So, but when you look at the moon there, if you could jump to that exact spot where that moonlight is shining on there now, I guarantee the moon will either be further back or higher. You know what I mean? You would never get to that spot, and this is what I've been saying for a year.
Even at that altitude, it's still acting the same as it
does. It's low like that due to perspective, but if you could jump to that spot, then it would either be higher in the sky or further away. Yeah, until there was a point where it actually crossed, and then it'd be behind you. You know what I mean? It's like a rainbow you can never get to.
It's like a rainbow, David.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. So now we understand that, and that's what I'm showing you. I know, like, we know now from what I've been doing with Cosmic Surfer and Sea Proxy, we know now how they used to work out where they were around the Earth. And this is how we're going to now check our maps and make sure that we know where we are and cross-reference everything from these cameras. I've thought about everything you said, Mike, and that's why I want Chris's drone, because then we can do it, what we're doing, but up in the air from set locations, but at altitudes with a drone hovering at 8 hours of time, you know.
And you guys could thoroughly write a scientific paper and debunk the heliocentric model completely with this. Absolutely.
We'll just give you a VR headset and you just blow your mind that way. It'd be much easier than writing a paper, you know.
Mike, Sam, I've got something interesting if you want me to show you. You know, I've been collecting a load of meridian patterns for the moon, and I run it past the flat Earth core in a hangout last week, and they're in full agreement with me that what I might have found a bit of a discrepancy in the heliocentric model, because, you know, like I say, I've been making observations, and I've also been matching my observations up with time and date to say when I point my app and take a photograph of the moon, say if it's at 270 degrees west, when I look on time and date, what you know, it's 271 degrees west, and the altitude's within a degree or two. But what I'll do, I'll just get the screen up now, and I'll just show you what I've been up to.
We actually modelled all of the scan lines on the globe for the eclipse, because we knew where the moon should have been and everything. It had to work, and it still didn't.
Right, so I've got my application window open, so if I share the application now. Right.
So, David, time and date, it seems like they slide everything. Everything's kind of like they're close, but they always create this extra amount of data that they cover up by changing everything so slightly. Is that what you're finding?
Well, time of day it is pretty accurate, but obviously what they do, they chuck in the distances there as well. The distances are completely made up. They're just math. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. I'm looking.
Right. So basically, what I did, I start. You know, I've been shooting the moon, and I thought what I'd do. I thought I'd take the meridian passing on every occasion when the moon was on the tropics and the equator over a full year. So basically, if you see my cursor, obviously I started on the Tropic of Cancer on the 26th and the 27th of December 2015, and there's a time it crossed the meridian passing, and there's a time on the following night, which was at 1:23, and you can see there it took 24 hours and 54 minutes. Yeah, so it deviated about 3 minutes from the average. That's the delta there, you can see. So as you look through the readings, this is, as I've noticed when I've actually made my own observations, is when the moon's on the Tropic of Cancer, it's pretty slow. Then as it heads towards the equator, it speeds up quite significantly in a short matter of time. So then it only takes 24 hours, 42 minutes to get to the same spot the following night. Then when we move to Capricorn again, what you'll find is it slows down slightly. But the interesting thing is, when it heads back to the equator from Capricorn, it stays at relatively the same speed. As you can see there, there's hardly any change in the meridian passing. Now, I went through a full year, and what you'll see is you've got that same speed up, 42, 43, 42. The only time the moon speeds up is when it heads towards the equator. That's every single time, all the way. And what you will notice, we all know that the moon's mean time is 24 hours, 50 minutes as a mean time. Now, if I select all them meridian passings there, I don't know if you can see, just see the count there in the bottom corner there, look. Let me just hide that. See it there, the average, 50 minutes, 0.89. So the mean time is working out perfect. It's 24 hours and 50 minutes, which is, we all know, is the mean time of the moon. So what I did then, I went to my observations in March from my location in Ripley, and on my observation, I took readings on every single day the moon's meridian passing. As you can see there, look. Same again, you can see as it's slowing down from the Tropic of Cancer, as it's getting to the equator, the moon actually speeds up to its fastest point there on the 15th. My reading was on the actual 13th there, so I caught it. But you can still see, I could still notice on my screen, because the moon speeds up on my screen as it is doing that, as it's matching up on time and date. I did then, you see, I thought, yeah, that's okay from my perspective. What about if I go to, say, Ushuaia in Argentina, which is on the exact same latitude south? Same results. The moon speeds up and slows down in the exact same place. Look, you can see there on them. It says on the 15th there, because you remember the time difference, it's slightly different. So, but the actual speed of the moon is exactly the same. Also, you'll see the declination angle there. I've included all them. So when the moon is low on the Tropic of Capricorn, you can see as it gets a bit lower, then it starts getting declination towards the north.
So your 360, Dave, you'd have all your video to back this. Like, I expect you could then put this to my 360 data. If I've got this, I probably have March 2007. Yeah, I've probably got some of that.
Yeah, well, I've got all the actual observations I made through March as well, and the ones I made in February. But I'm not going to include the ones in February. So I used a slightly different zoom setting on the camera. So
yeah, but I'll say I've got the 360.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I was asking you. Maybe we could find something to match it up, because as again, I went to a place called Pontianak in Indonesia, which is smack bang on the equator. Guess what? Same times again, look. It always speeds up when it's on the equator. It doesn't matter where you are on the plane, yeah, but it always speed up on the equator, and then the same readings
for everyone if it's happening for you.
And these angles here, they work in the exact opposite way. You know, the declination angle to the person in the north. So obviously, it's high on the sky now, and as it gets up to to the equator, what you'll do, it's there at nearly 90 degrees, and that's where it's fastest there on the March 14th to 15th. It's another day ahead because they're quite a few hours ahead in Indonesia, aren't they? Because I bet they're about 10 hours in front of us there. The moon is speeding up, and interestingly, where I made my observations in August and September. So what I did, I did a quick time, and I tested my first observation in August when the moon was on the Tropic of Capricorn. Because what I did, I had to come backwards this time. I'd gone from the Cancer to the equator to Capricorn. This time I went from Capricorn to the equator and back for this observation. This is where I'm going to show all the 6 observations in my new video and how they all match up with time and date. So basically, when it was on the Tropic of Capricorn, August, it took 5 minutes 35 for it to enter my frame, the moon, and to touch the other side of my screen. And interestingly, the meridian passing on that observational date, it took 24 hours and 49 minutes. I went to my recording on the equator. It took 5 minutes 18 to cross my screen, so obviously it speeded up slightly. And interestingly, the meridian passing was 24 hours 48 minutes, just slightly quicker. Now, when we went to Cancer, in ages, it seems to take forever to get from one end of my screen to the other. It actually took 6 minutes 25 seconds, so it really slowed down. But when I went to the meridian passing, guess what? 24 hours 57 minutes. It's what I'm observing is matching up exactly with the meridian passings. You know what I mean? It can be matched up. So what I did then, I started looking into the elliptical cycle of the moon. You know, when it's its furthest point from Earth and when it's its closest point. So I looked into Kepler's law of planetary motion, and interestingly, laws which are taught as facts in schools these days are all based on observations that were made in the late 1600s from his rival and mentor at the time, Tycho Brahe. So every observation that Tycho had made, he built his laws of planetary motion on there. So what I'm saying is I'm observing the moon, and when it's speeding up from my perspective, it's speeding up in reality. This is 100% proof. I can back that up with it, because the meridian passing doesn't lie. Like I've said before, you can't have that meridian passing. When that moon's at 180 degrees, and if you go outside and you snap it, you'll more likely catch it at 180 degrees. Now, let me see if I can just get this up for you now, because there's something else I wanted to show you. And just get it up. How do I make that smaller? Right, that's it. So if I share another window now in the application, it should come up with it. It's not there. Let me try and open it. That's it. Should be in the application window now. No, it's not there for some reason. I can't get it up on the application window for some reason. I wanted to get the lunar reconnaissance orbiter up on it, but it won't let me. Let me try again.
And that's because the LOR is not real, David, so it doesn't exist. That's why you can't find it.
Yeah, but what? I can't get it up. I'm trying, but it's for some reason. Let me just try and open the window again. It's right. So I've opened the window.
Can be quite a list.
So if I go to the screen share now, application, no, it's not there for some reason. It won't open it for some reason. Anyway, I'll basically. So what I did on my observations in March 12th, I've gone to the lunar reconnaissance visualization to look where the moon's actually positioned according to the heliocentric model against the Earth, and it's actually heading towards apogee. Now we know from all the observations I've made, and the moon only speeds up when it's on the equator. That is 100%. You know what I mean? The data doesn't lie, and you can go through time and date for 10 years, and you'll get that same speed up, slow down round the equator time when it's heading from Cancer every single time. It doesn't change at all. There is a bit slight variations. It's like 24 hours 43 minutes 1 month and 24 hours 42, but that's because it's not in the exact same position each month. You know what I mean? To get in that same position, it's quite a long cycle. But looking at the LRO visualization on all my observations, the moon is heading towards apogee at its furthest point in that cycle. Now, you know, the time it should speed up is when it's past apogee and it's heading towards perigee. That's the time it should be speeding up in its actual cycle. So to me, what they've done for the distances is they just introduced the math, and that's where they get the distances from. There's no way they can prove the distance of the moon. It's impossible. It's like you said, it's like a rainbow, some kind of projection, you know what I mean? And we're just seeing that projected image. You get closer to it, it just moves further away.
That's exactly it. It's like a shadow. It moves with you.
Until you get to a point, then it'll be above your head, and then when you move away, it'll be on the other side again. So you know what I mean? It's just you're never going to get to it. So what I'm going to do in my latest video is actually show this, because I've actually edited down I wanted to show you the version version, what I've done, I've edited down the LRO and slowed it right down so you can see my observations around that period through March. I took it to 4 minutes on the actual video, even though it's slow, but it'll give me time to talk through it. And because on the video, remember, you've got a year in 4 minutes. So I've actually took that video, edited down, and just that section. So both my observations, the ones I made in March and the ones I made in August, September, I had to do a reshoot in September because when I caught the moon, it was in the daytime and it was acceptable. So I had to wait another month to shoot it, and luckily I got a really good shot of it in September. But when I put them numbers next to the actual LRO, you'll see it's all maths. Yeah, yes, they've got the phases right, they've got the position right, but when it comes to that, the 5-degree inclination of the moon and the distances, they're just using maths for that. Because, like I say, when the moon's close to us, it'll be higher in the sky. But on their model, it doesn't work like that. It's only when it's similar to the heliocentric model with a 23.4 degrees tilt. Yeah, when the Earth's tilted towards the sun, we have summer and blah blah blah. Well, they do the same thing with the moon. When the moon's high on the Tropic of Cancer, that's because it's inclined, obviously 5 degrees north. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with that. But I run it past some clever guys, Dr. Zach, Steve Torrance, Mike Kavanagh, Robert Scott, who put the actual spreadsheet together for me. I just sent him the data and he banked it in a spreadsheet for me. And they say, you're right, you know what I mean? Unless anybody can see anything that I'm missing. But like I say, I put it past quite a few guys who know the stuff and they all agree with me. So I just wonder what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I talked to Dr. Zach yesterday. He's they're tracking still. So David, what's the importance map-wise that the moon is faster around the equator than it is in the northern and southern hemisphere? What's important map-wise?
Well, I don't map-wise. I don't know because I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm doing this to show that the NASA's LRO and the heliocentric model is incorrect compared to what I'm shooting in reality back to with time and date. That's the purpose of my video. It's going to be nothing to do with maps or anything. Why the moon speeds up there, I haven't got a clue. You know what I mean? If it did it on the way back, you might be able to put 2 and 2 together. But because it's so unorthodox in its motions, it's difficult to say what. But to put a map to it, I wouldn't be able to put a map to it. And that's my honest opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I can put a map to it with what I've shown you with the lines and how we see it working, because it does work, like what we've done.
Yeah, I suppose you could put it to any projection. You know, when a map's projected, it'll work on just about any projection. I know you won't have if you did it on the AE map, you won't have the daylight hours in the south. You know what I mean? You can't have 19 hours daylight hours in the south on the AE map. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, obviously if the moon was furthest north and furthest south, and then you would get that. But like I say, it's just putting this video together now and trying to put it across what I'm trying to explain. It's not the easiest thing to try and explain, like. But hopefully, when I've got the visualizations on screen and you can see the actual animation of the moon in their model moving away at the furthest point, which would be the slowest point in its cycle. You know what I mean? On both observations as well. It's not just like it's on one of the observations. It's on all 6, and all my observations, all my 6 observations are matching up with the meridian passing when it slows down and when it speeds up on time and date. And as I've shown before, where I've took hundreds of readings where I've snapped the moon, took a quick shot and compared it with moon calc or time and date, the moon's relatively in that position where I shoot it. So I've also took a snapshot of my compass pointing north with the actual diopter at pointing exactly north with it as well. You know what I mean? To show, you know what, the app's pretty accurate as well. Look, put a compass against it and it pretty works. When you set the declination to -2, it works perfect. So that's where I'm at with that.
Amazing work. Hey, we got some questions in chat. You want to answer them?
Yeah, go ahead.
One guy says, Pete Shea, the moon doesn't exist as a separate thing. It is a reflection of the interface of the sun. They're exactly the same size for a reason. My answer is they are different because one's a dielectric positive light, one's a negative being the moon. What do you guys have to say to that being the same?
My first theory that when I first got into flat Earth, I thought, is the sun a reflection of, is the moon a reflection of the sun? And I think I might have showed you, Mike, when I went on YouTube and I was taking snapshots of high altitude balloon footage of the sun to try and catch it, see if it was the moon, because you know when you get that reflection, that lens reflection, you can actually sometimes see some detail. But I'm pretty much convinced that the sun is not the moon. You know what I mean? The sun's a completely different light compared to the moon. we know that.
Yeah,
so,
they both give off completely opposite resonance frequencies to Earth. They're just
one's preserving, one's putrefying. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Moonlight is cooler, and what you'll find is when you have a full moon in the opposite hemisphere, you'll find out that it's a lot colder at the time when the moon's in that hemisphere as well. You know what I mean? It proves that the sun does warm the land, and the moon does actually cool the land.
Yeah, I mean that's our observation, right? They're just two different resonating frequencies. They're different.
Exactly.
Okay, another question. LCM, how can Earth and the Sun have a magnetic field when the temperature of the elements involved are up to 10 times their Curie point and there is no spinning motion on either? In other words, I guess on a globe Earth, there's a liquid iron core. So he's wondering how the globe Earth could have an electromagnetic field. You guys answer that?
Well, me personally, I would say it's the electric charged ether, and what it's doing, it's basically causing a reaction between the actual. If you think about the Earth, it's an Earth. You know what I mean? It's actually earthing that charge. That's my own thought on that. Anyway, it's the electric magnetic ether that's charged, and basically all the light's propagated in there, and we're seeing it from that perspective when the light is shone, and that's due to their density or their altitude of each light in the sky, kind of thing. As for the Earth's core, well, we know that if it's a molten core, it shouldn't hold any charge anyway, because when you heat a magnet up, it actually loses its magnetic properties. So it wouldn't have a magnetic core anyway. So
on a globe Earth, because the iron is said to be 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, that's past Curie, right? That's going to lose all magnetic properties, right, David?
Exactly. That's my opinion on that. Even though I don't believe in the Earth core anyway, because like I say, I know it's hot down there. Don't get me wrong. There's something definitely hot down there, but it's intercore at the center of a ball.
Probably hell, that's what it is.
Yeah.
On the globe Earth, there could be no magnetic field, and every single species on Earth relies on that magnetic field to survive and for navigation. And this is why we see bunches of them wash up on shore going to low oxygenated water, simply because in the last 15 years we've been spraying barium all over the place and magnetically confusing our sea creatures of Earth. So that's why they're washing up everywhere. And plus, this is why herds of cattle walk off a cliff, because they become magnetically confused simply because of all the type of chemtrailing with magnetic particulates that are radioactive in our metals.
Yeah, and don't forget to take into consideration as well about when we're talking about poles, we're not talking about geographical poles. We're talking about celestial poles created from magnetic fields. So a lot of people are getting confused when you said there's two poles. They say no, there's not. I mean, there must be two poles on a globe, but that's the difference. Yeah, we're talking celestial phenomena, not terrestrial. So that needs to be cleared up as well, because there is quite a bit of confusion between that.
Yeah, and so when David says celestial and terrestrial, what he's saying is a lot of people just assume there's some like magnetic rocks or mountains on the North Pole. That's what turns our compass needle north. But even on NASA's map, the electromagnetic field is outside of the Earth. What David said is celestial. That would be celestial. And our magnetic field is not on Earth itself, terrestrial.
Yeah, imagine being on the equator with a compass. Yeah, how would that compass point to a terrestrial pole? Yeah, we'd have to follow the curvature of the Earth right around to the pole. You know what I mean? A compass has to be on a level surface to work. So you know what I mean? You'd have to bend around the Earth to get to the North Pole or the South Pole.
Well, I think basically your compass would just point to the ground,
Exactly. Like I say, you know what I mean? You'd have to go through the Earth.
Core that was magnetic, which can't be magnetic if it's molten iron. You would just have, like I'm just saying, on their model, your compass would just point to the ground.
Okay, all right, go on, guys.
I was just going to say there is some magnetic anomalies. We do know that. They have them in Malaysia, and there's a few others in there. But I haven't really looked into that, to say true, so I can't really answer that. But I do know that they do have magnetic anomalies in places like Malaysia.
Well, we're going to have to wait for Chris and Sirius, because we have what NASA shows us as a magnetic field, but Chris believes, and probably Sirius believes, there's more than one toroidal field going other directions. So that's we'll let those guys sort that out.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me.
Next question. Does the firmament have a thickness all all around like I see as an eyeball? And this guy also asks, is the moon behind the firmament? Well, according to scriptures, Genesis 1:20, the firmament starts as far as the birds can fly. That's where the firmament, that's where God set the sun and moon and stars, and that's why we see the moon sitting on top of the cloud layer at 38,000 feet. It also can be projected, like you can catch the sun underneath the clouds, and the noctiluous clouds way, way, way far above us can be often seen behind both the sun and moon if they're projections. Anybody else got another answer? I just gave the scriptural answer.
Yes, that's why I think, like I said, they're being dragged around the electromagnetic ether, and from our perspective, we're just seeing what the light's actually causing. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm sure you've seen that image where I've captured the moon overexposed, and it produces a perfect image of the moon on the glare. Even though the original shot is just a white light, the perfect image projected on the lens is a perfect replica of the moon.
Yeah, I don't know, even if there is a moon, you know, I'm not sure if it's all just projection created by frequencies, and everything is just frequency. So I'm not sure at all, you know. Hopefully we can find out, you know. That'd be nice to be able to prove it one way or another, but still unsure.
You might wonder why he was actually carrying the celestial sphere. They knew it was the celestial sphere, but why was he carrying?
Well, I like what you're showing now, series.
Yeah, I'm showing now what I produced out of a level 3 magnetic buildup of lines, following the magnetic line and plot that line into a mesh. And I'm working out now a level 5, and then from every 10 kilometers, starting on 0 and ending on 1,000. And I'm looking up, I'm trying to figure out how we can actually see it way better on every height. What's happening there with the magnetic fields?
See, we've lost Mike.
You see, for example, that part in Asia, a big part is China. There is a kind of still point, and that same point is also in the south, completely at the edge of the map a little bit. You can see a little bit the connection with the elevation itself.
See, this is what we were wondering. When you get to the pole star,
yeah, how far do you need to go to actually have the Polaris 90 degrees above you?
Yeah, but what happens when you go past that?
Yeah, can you even reach it?
Series, you've got a big talking.
Always.
So you have to mute yourself when not talking. And sorry, so when anybody was saying.
That's what we were thinking. You know, like what happens when you do get to the pole star? You know, the pole star's above your head. Then you keep going. What happens at that point? You know,
I would have thought it'd start dropping again.
Yeah,
unless you could actually, if you could get to it, like Siri says, we don't know, do we? We just have to rely on mainstream for that kind of nonsense.
Basically, what we can map, though, what we can track and everything is what's above us, you know.
Yeah, I made it.
Hey.
He's right.
Yeah, I made it back. Did you guys cover some other questions in there? Some interesting ones?
Yeah, throw them out. So I can't actually see the chat from where I am, right?
You know, I think it's kind of cool if we could answer a lot of the people's questions, you know, make them part of whatever, you know. One guy says, has anyone ever tested a UV meter to test the moon's light? If it were a reflection of the sun's light, would you be able to detect the sun's UV rays that way?
I know somebody who's used a night vision lens to shoot the moon, and it comes up as being cool. Yeah, so it can't be reflecting the sunlight, otherwise it'd be a really bright color, but it was like in the cooler spectrum.
Right. Right. Both lights give off a different resonance frequency, and that's all UV rays are. They're just a different frequency propagated through our magnetic field, and the moon and the sun both give off completely different magnetic signatures.
Exactly.
Let me see here. What is the relationship between time and magnetic field? We need series on this one.
Yeah, what is the relationship? For me, time is actually dimension 0 because everything begins with, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. So there, after time was created, the dimensions came. And in the dimensions, the magnetic fields were through time and space. So far, that's the relation. I guess.
Right, magnetic fields, right? Sort of like light propagates through the field in time, but there's no distance in a magnetic field. In other words, this is why NASA explains about portals from the poles to the sun. There's no distance. And so time's not relative in the magnetic field, because you could be one place and end up in another place without having noticed any time passing. It's not a portal. It's just everything's in the same place, so to speak. Series, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a single field, and understanding a field, that's what Ken Wheeler tries to explain explicitly what an electromagnetic field is. And so far I figured it's the same as that toroidal field, what we have also as a spatial loop through the fourth dimension in east-west, and that's just a field what you can't even leave. You're stuck in that in a sense.
Can I add something? Like, it's like with you take a power wash, a power washer. You go for a walk on a nice day with a long lead. You can make a rainbow anywhere. So, like what you were saying, then it's just everywhere. It's just it takes certain things to bring it out, so to speak.
Right, and also I'm just going to add to that. Basically, what Ken Wheeler did with the light bulb when he says the light is not emitting any light whatsoever because it's a sealed unit. You know what I mean? It's a sealed vacuum, and it's just lighting up the ether around it, kind of thing.
Exactly, it just manipulates it.
It propagates a wave.
Yeah.
It's not the maker of the wave. What is reaching the edge of the water in that sense.
And so that's the part. Right? So light's not like photons coming at you and being stuck to the wall behind you or anything. Light is a disturbance in the ether in our electromagnetic field, and our icones are able to pick up that wave frequency spectrum.
Yeah, that's why we probably speak of a complete electromagnetic spectrum, in where we have all different wave amplitudes and wave frequencies, in where we just see that little sliver of light and probably take that as a whole reality. But there's so much more outside this, because we never will get as a whole.
And so we change the frequency, it becomes something totally different. Like a lower frequency would be like something we could hear. A higher frequency would actually vibrate at speeds that would go through mountains or not be stopped, like gamma rays.
Yeah, it's exactly. It all ties in together, doesn't it, really?
But if you think about it, the way it really is, not particle physics, but the way it really is, it's really simple. It's just based on a wave frequency propagating through the ether in an electromagnetic field, right?
Yeah, everything's always around us. It just needs a certain manipulation to bring it out, basically. Yeah.
And so, particle physics, I am convinced that they have taught this in universities around the world simply to show people observation of things, but make them unable to create or come up with new things, so that the world powers to be could keep the technology for themselves and rule over the people. After all, people are told they're electrons. They believe they're electrons. They believe electrons have mass. And so any theory they come is going to be based on a particle that has mass, which is completely untrue, but they can't see an electron or even tell or even measure if it had mass or not. And so any theory they come up that may bring new technology is going to be wrong.
Can I just say that Aaron's joined the chat room now? Hello, Aaron. Aaron.
Hello.
And Aaron, we came on tonight because Stan wanted some help with some 360-degree camera work, which they've been talking about. But just in a few words, Aaron, can you explain what you're doing? Because you also need help. You also came with a think tank. Stan, do you remember Aaron the other day?
Yeah, I am.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Aaron? Right?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We've got Dave Marsh, Mike Helmick, Series, me, and Patricia.
Awesome. I'm working on a number of things, but I guess the main thing I'm working on right now is this Project Lumen, which is kind of a collection of a number of smaller projects. They're all huge, but Project Lumen kind of is an umbrella of a lot of initiatives to open minds and challenge current paradigms and organize organize ourselves and our evidence and our findings, and really just mostly I would say gearing towards getting organized, so we kind of have a common place to work on some of these issues and a common vehicle for which to drive and all get on board and all cooperate and work together. So that's my short spiel, I guess.
Where you might be able to put stuff in about NASA, about maps, about people, about money, about changing our life, going a different way, doing it now with governments and all that kind of stuff. Like we're going to turn our backs on them.
Right. Yeah. So we're not just
the 360-degree camera stuff on there as well, please.
Say it again. What'd you say?
Can you put 360-degree cameras, because that's what Stan wants?
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, we can absolutely incorporate that. I don't know much about that. I mean, I saw the video that Stan had done for maybe his last hangout we did. I thought that was really cool. I think that's great stuff. And so absolutely, that's the kind of information, the kind of research that I definitely think we all need to see and be contemplating and figuring out how that fits into various models and ideas, and because I think the biggest thing is really that's just that we're honest about like what the evidence and the numbers kind of do tell us and what we can assert from that, rather than just running off on all these crazy assumptions that ends up in a new world order dominating the world.
Well, that's what we've tried to do now, because I've joined the Flat Earth Core, with Mike Kavanagh, Dr. Zach, and Steve Torrance, and there's Robert Scott, and Chris Monksiri, he's a member, Pilot LX, there's quite a few members, and what we're doing, all the data we're collecting, like all the moon data I'm collecting, it's going to go into like a central database, and then we're going to obviously build up from that. There's one person who's got a speciality in whatever geometry and what have you. I'm trying to do my moon motions and observations, and it's all going to go into a central point, and hopefully we can build off that. But I know they've been talking about Z Proxy and Stan's work in there recently, because obviously I think that'd be a good contribution to the actual the group. And so maybe if I can get Mike to get in contact with any of you and have a chat with you, because that's what I did. I had a chat with him for about an hour, showed him what I was working on and showed him what my goal was, and that's how I become a member of that group. Like, there's only about 15 members in the group at present, but I'm sure it's going to grow over a matter of time.
And this is the FE Core group, is that right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I spoke to you briefly, didn't I, Aaron, a few days back or last week?
Yeah.
Sometime.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I've mentioned it to Mike, but he's in the middle of something at the moment, like in the middle of a project, so it's quite difficult to get through to these guys at the moment.
That work is great, absolutely. And, I would try to figure out how we can kind of bring that data all into a central database, combined with like the stuff Series is doing, and maybe some even other groups that are doing different things. So we're all really just working towards the common goal, and working together. I think that's really the key right now.
Yeah, I think that's what the goal of the actual Flat Earth core is, to actually build a central system kind of thing, and a central point for where all the information can be fed through, and then we can build off that. I know it's only just started. They've just set up a website which is like fe/core.com and .org or whatever, and so they are starting to put things together. And like I say, I've been working on my own thing at the moment, like, so I haven't really had much involvement, but I have been feeding my spreadsheets through to Robert Scott, who's been looking at them. So it's all helping to put together this jigsaw. You know what I mean? If we could just find one piece of the puzzle from one place, and then get another piece from another place, we can start putting these pieces together and try to build on that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, and I think what I'm working with as well is putting together a social network that we could actually use instead of Facebook and instead of YouTube, and or even in addition to, I might say. But it would be censorship free. It would be a place to be organized such that like all this data would be accessible, and then all the kind of primary arguments, you might say, would be also readily available, so that as we're trying to present these things to various people, we have like a kind of a standard go-to where we can just say, oh, well, look into this, and this is kind of the compiled resource where it's got all the links to all the sources of information, all the experiments. Here's all the data. here's all the photos and video, you know, so we can really just have a singular, not just because you guys are like doing the real research and the real science here. I very much appreciate that and respect that, and that needs to be a part of it. And I think also to have even just like the general intro information where people are just coming into this, where do we look? Where do we research? You can send them to various YouTube channels, but then they have to watch all these videos and, and if they just have those initial questions in their mind, I think it'd be great to have like almost like an intro course into the evidence that is, that we have available to us.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually doing on my video, my latest moon race video. I'm actually using I'm following the scientific method with my observations and my theory, and then obviously I'm testing it. I'm going to actually follow it step by step because I believe I've got the actual numbers and the actual visualization data to actually build on a theory, if you know what I mean, a prosthesis or whatever they call it. I don't know. Like I say, I'm no scientist, and like I say, I've only been researching flat Earth since coming up to 2 years, probably a year and a half properly. But to me, it's learn as you go. You know what I mean? When you get stuck on something, then you have to start digging around and start finding the answers to it. But like I said, I don't know everything. I just learn as I go, and that's how I've come into this, and that's how I'm going to carry on. But hopefully, if I use a scientific method properly, I should be able to get it through a lot clearer. You know what I mean? Instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, this is what I think's happening," when I can say, "You know what? This is what I'm observing," just like Tycho Brahe did back in the 1600s. You know what I mean? All Kepler's laws of planetary motion was built on his observations. Yeah, and they didn't have telescopes back then. They were built off visual observations and drawings. You know what I mean? I'm using high-tech equipment and compasses and GPS and all sorts to try and put my video together. So I'm going a bit step further than they did in the 1600s. So like I say, hopefully I can get this across and people will understand it.
Yeah, can I ask you, Dave? What did you say is your conclusion and your main theory now that based on all of this observation you've been doing as far as the moon?
Well, my original moon race videos was to try and prove the circle model. That was my original moon race 1 video, which was left inconclusive due to the fact that the moon actually slowed down when it headed towards the Tropic of Capricorn. Mm-hmm. Then I went a step further in moon race 2, and I tried to explain the moon, how it works north and south. You'd have to watch the video to understand what I'm on about. Then in moon race 3, because it's like an evolution, every time I do the experiment or I learn a little bit more, you know what I mean? I've learned quite a few camera tricks. When I used to do the moon race video, the moon used to overexpose as it entered my screen from the left-hand side. I found out now how to set the AEL off feature on the camera, so you get the moon coming on and it's not overexposed, it locks the exposure. And you know what I mean? Little things like even aiming an app at the moon to get it accurate, to really calibrate it properly so it's like 100% accurate. There's just all these little things I'm learning. But my goal on this is to disprove NASA's lunar reconnaissance visualization for 2017, because all my observations were made in 2017. I don't know if you saw earlier on when I showed you the actual spreadsheet. Did you see that?
Yeah, I looked at it a little bit. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, basically, my observations are matching up with what's happening on the meridian passing. So when I shot the moon on the Tropic of Cancer and it took a certain amount of time, the meridian passing was matching up with my observations. Then when it speeded up on the equator, it's less on the meridian passing and so on. And I've done this on 9 occasions and all my observations match up. I can only use 6 of them from the video because I've only shot 6 of them on the same zoom. I had a different zoom on the first video. So I actually zoomed out a little bit more on the recent observations. So I had more scope to record the moon. So it's a smaller object on my screen. So like I say, I've put it past the flat Earth call. We did an hangout with about 4 or 5 of them, and I basically went through my observations. I showed them the moon on my screen. I showed them the meridian passing. I showed them that when the moon was took 24 hours and 49 minutes on the Tropic of Capricorn, it took 5 minutes 35 to come across my screen. When it speeded up slightly on the equator to 24 hours 48 minutes, it took took 5 minutes 18 on my screen, and then when it slowed down to 24 hours 57 minutes on the Tropic of Cancer, it took 6 minutes 25 seconds on my screen. So what I'm observing is matching up with the meridian passing, and if you take all the meridian passings I've taken for a year and you highlight them all to get the mean time, you get the mean time of the moon, which is 24 hours 50 minutes, which is absolutely spot on. So you know what I mean? I know now from the research I've been doing that in regards to the 5-degree inclination of the moon and the actual distances, it's all math. Yeah, that's the math they've introduced into the model for it to work. And I'm going to prove this and hopefully put it across there. I can't explain it very well in words, but what I can do, I've got all the video footage. I've got all NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter visualization cut down into sections on the days my observations took place, like over a 2-week period and over like a lunar month. So you can see it running in slow motion that, look, when the moon is actually heading towards apogee, its slowest point, hold on, look at the date on my observations, backed up by time and date's meridian passing. It says the moon's speeding up in its cycle here. So who's right, time and date or my observations or NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, which is supposed to be the model of the heliocentric model. So that's what I'm working on at present. It's going to take about till November to finish the video because, like I say, I'm still actually gathering the data because even though I've got quite a lot, I've still got to get my other the data from my observations what I made in August and September because I had a bit of setback due to weather. So when I've got all that from 3 different locations as well, this is not just a thing from my perspective. I've actually set time and date to Ushuaia in Argentina, which is 54 degrees south, and recorded the meridian passing there as well from time and date, measured that time between the culmination and the moon, and it matches up with what's happening in the north and again on the equator in Indonesia. So it's not like just like it's from my perspective. If you went to Ushuaia and shot the moon the same way I'm doing it, the moon would speed up the same time it's speeding from my screen. And I think Stan's confirmed this when he's been doing his moon syncs with Z Proxy and Cosmic.
Yeah, there's also something to bear in mind is with your P900, when you zoom into the moon, my P900, Z Proxy and Cosmic Surfer will all have the same size moon in that screen. Same with you, Dave. So the moon is not any further from me than it is from you or from them or from any of us, from our perspective. That's what I say, it's a constant. So that's why I'm saying, like, I've thought about everything and like that I can think of from perspective point of view, and we can work this over series map there.
Yeah, but according to NASA's LRO as well, because you've got the arc seconds on there, you know, for the actual radius of the moon, and obviously as it gets further away on its furthest point, which is like 32 Earth distances away, the radius is the arc seconds are smaller. You know what I mean? And as it comes closer again, it's bigger. I know in times where I've shot it, it has shrunk slightly on the Tropic of Capricorn in my Moon Race 2 video. It was slightly smaller on the Tropic of
but it'd be the same for everyone that day.
Yeah, exactly.
It won't just be, it's closer over here and it's the same for everyone.
Yeah, so that's where I am with that anyway. Like, so it's just a lot to try and put together, and I can do it, but it's just you know when you're working full time and you've got a young family and other things going as well. You know, I mean, I just got a new job at work, so I've got to concentrate on work a little bit more. So, well, hopefully I'll get it all put together for November.
It's just about making a bit of time, isn't it?
Yeah, sacrificing some sleep as well.
That's great. That's great work, though, Dave. Thank you for doing that.
Cheers.
Well, I have to say, lady not included in this, but Patricia is a lovely woman. Very proud to be around all you men doing all this work. All of you work really hard for Flat Earth, and I'm very proud of all of you.
Oh, I don't know if you saw, but Eric DeBay's unfriended me.
We're not going to unfriend you, Dave. You're my friend. You're my friend, Dave. I'm very proud that you're all trying to have a go.
I'm quite surprised, actually. You know what I mean? That was over my Moon Race meme. What kind of art?
You work really hard for Flat Earth, including Patricia. She works really hard for Flat Earth as well. She helps me out and she's amazing. You're all amazing. So we're very pleased that you can help us. And I hope everybody else in the chat room can see that. How Stan's working really hard, how Patricia's helping really hard, Mike Helmick's working really hard, Dave's working really hard, and Aaron is all to help our future and change it for us and show the truth. So what more can we ask of you. You're just asking for a bit of help from everybody else if they can. So everybody in the chat room, please, any help needed, please help us.
Yeah, and don't forget the Flat Earth conference in is it April? Is it
I
in
already
Birmingham?
I put the video out again last night. I think I've played it 3 times so far.
I've been plugging the video on Facebook. It's had about 3,500 views up to now. I'll keep plugging it once a week, like, and putting it through its motions. But what I'm going to be hopefully doing at the conference is doing like a live version of the Moon Race 3, where I'm going to be doing it on like a PowerPoint kind of thing, where I'll run a bit of video and then I'll talk through it. So I'm going to be doing like a motions of the moon, where it's going to be like a live presentation version of my video. So that's what the guy at work, who's like an expert on PowerPoint and presentations, is going to help me put a proper presentation together, with the laser pointer and what have you. So I can like work with free hands and point the laser at the screen and what have you. So hopefully, after I come back from the conference in November, I can start banging that together and getting it all ready for the UK conference and hopefully the European one.
Yeah, we're all helping with that, aren't we? Yeah, I'm helping at the conference and I'll be helping Gary. So yeah, over to Amsterdam as well.
Yeah, I'll just run through these like pictures once more, Karen, if you can present us, please.
Great, Stan.
Just show Mike as well that if this wasn't going to work, then we would have to alter the depth of these lines with each location, but we don't. All we do is literally grab hold of it and pull it up or pull it down to match what is there.
Yeah, doing a basic overlay on top of it. We are actually changing it, kind of thing.
Yeah, that you just like each picture is just the lines have slightly moved. They're the same lines, they just move up and down. And that's what I say. If the atmosphere was affecting it to the point where you couldn't do this, we would already know this, and we wouldn't be wasting your time with what I'm showing you. I wouldn't be wasting my own time,
I think the atmosphere acts more like a filter more than it does a refractive property. That's my opinion. At first, we thought refraction, we were seeing the apparent position. We might be a little bit, but I don't think the atmosphere affects it as much as we thought it did.
I see more magnification on set and rise.
Yeah, that's what I see. I don't see a refractive position.
It's like Dave said just a minute ago. When the moon is appears to be farther away, it is the same for everyone, but it doesn't move. It doesn't jump over hill all of a sudden. It is always a constant within these lines. And that's what I say. This is South Africa, and then there's the Isle of Wight, England, UK. So
right,
that's
fits, what Zach's saying, but I think it was off. So this is
what I'm saying though. It works. It's working. What we are doing is going to work. But that's why as well we do want, like Chris's drone. We need the full package. We need the goal of the drone, and then the goal of the data collecting. Like we need the data, we need the drone, because with the drone as well, I still think you're going to see the same in the respect of how it behaves, but what's going to happen to it, I'm unsure at altitude.
So if atmospheric refraction was a big issue, then everybody having different atmospheric moisture density, they would see something different, but we're all seeing a consistent same thing, right?
That's what I'm saying to you. Yeah, exactly that. Look, you got Dubai there, same lines.
Hey Stan, it's not much of an offer, by the way, because I just don't have money to buy one of those at the moment. You said you've got 2 cameras. You could always put one in my house and leave it here for 2 weeks.
Could do. I'm going to get another one and replace the one on my roof. So there will be one that I might, just start posting it around, But
you can always
thinking about getting one. Probably Christmas time.
If you've got a P900, there's no excuse really. If you can afford the P900, then you could get 10 of these cameras for the price.
Yeah, I've got the B700. I went for the smaller camera.
But yeah,
it's not, and you've got the spare one, and you want this information, you could put one in my house. I know that I'm a little bit away from you, but I'm not too far away that we couldn't do this.
Yeah, we can do. There's something we can.
If you want to put one in my house,
finally see how Polaris goes.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see how you do the Big Dipper and everything. I'd love it.
I've recorded Polaris for half an hour, and obviously it went from one end of my screen to the other end of the screen. screen, like, because it's about 1 degree off the center, like, so you can see it making a concentric circle when you zoom back a little bit. But I zoomed right in on it, and it basically went from one end of the screen to the other. You could see the little arch it was making. So Polaris is not actually fixed in the center. A lot of people still think it is, but and they said, "Oh, your camera's slipped and all this lot." But trust me, that camera was locked on Polaris. Yeah, I had it set up there for ages before I even press record. So I know, like, I just kept readjusting it slightly. And my camera tripod's not cheap. It was like 150 quid tripod. It's not cheap. So when you lock that camera on a position, but they lock that tripod on a position, it stays there regardless of the angle you've got the camera at. So I know it's not the camera tripod.
It does move, doesn't it? But it's a central. Yeah, it's the most central star that we have.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to Stellarium and you go into the south and you zoom right in on the south, there's a couple of Hib stars what are actually closer to the centre, but obviously they're not visible with the naked eye. But there's some literally bang on the centre there, right? And there's a couple of unnamed stars and all, actually, which is interesting. I would have thought they'd probably named them all by now, but they're unnamed.
Maybe we should name one. We should adopt a star here on Moon Group.
Oh, a bit of interesting news. I found a website where you can actually buy land, some real estate selling lunar land by the square mile. So if you want any land ordering or preserving from Venus, Mars, or the Moon, just look up the website. Just put in lunar
Dave,
real estate.
that sounds a little bit of a con to me, mate. I wouldn't be buying that.
Yeah, they're just saying if you're interested in buying some real estate on the Moon, you know where to go.
Isn't that really just Antarctica?
Possibly. There's a lot of secrecy going on down there. Like I say, people said there's no 24-hour sunlight because everything they show you down there is fake. So yeah. I don't know why they're hiding it all. And like I say, 54 degrees south latitude is the furthest we can go. Yeah, and then at 60 degrees, you're at Antarctica.
I think, Dave, with some of the information, and I think Mike will say, maybe Series will, and FPV, there's a lot happening from Antarctica. They're using it to do things like cause the earthquakes, cause the the tornadoes, hurricanes. They're using.
There's all sorts of rumours down there. You know what I mean? You haven't got a clue what they're doing down there.
Oh, you don't even know what it is down there. You know, none of us have been, so we're all told it's this bloody frosty place and blah blah blah. Well, you don't know what's down there. Not one of us have been down there, so we cannot say.
Last week, who went to Antarctica? She went there on like a trip with her family, and the most interesting thing about her story was that they required her and everyone that every time they would get off the boat and go to the ice or the land, they had to soak their feet because they were really concerned about spreading germs to Antarctica. And I thought that was really unusual, considering that's just a bunch of ice and penguins, right?
Yeah, germs don't breed on when they're at a low temperature, do they?
Yeah,
probably just for show.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, who knows, man? All I know is that not one of us have ever been down there. And, I don't know what's down there. It could be bloody tropical paradise for all I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, that's where the programming comes in, because we still think it's down there. But is it down there? That's the thing.
Well, south. Yeah. Let's just all right.
Say, oh yeah, down in Antarctica, but is it actually down there?
Well, I do have high altitude pictures of Bunker Hill. It never snows or freezes there. They got freshwater lakes. That's what Admiral Byrd showed. And Google Maps covered that up when other people found what I found. But we do have wave propagation coming from the South Pole. I've been tracking this for a month. So whatever they have down there, they have a power source or they have a 0-point energy source. Fully convinced of it. And you can track the waves to events like in South America, especially. And so, it'd be really nice if they'd let us get down there and look around and ask questions and go where we wanted.
Well, no, imagine a big boat of us lot going down there, man. Huh.
B.O.B. isn't it?
I would rather think drones. balloon drones.
Can you imagine about 50 drones just flying through the air down there?
And even going north would be great as well. Rough, haven't they? So you can't go north and you can't go south.
Yep, you can't go beyond, I think it's 80 degrees, is it? I think you can go to a Svalbard in Norway, which is at 79 degrees north.
You've got to ask why that they've done that. The reality, why have they done that? Because they're covering everything up north and they're covering everything up south.
Have you seen the seed storage plant in Svalbard? They have like a storage centre where they store all the seeds collected from around the world.
Yeah, I've seen
but
that.
nobody's allowed to go in there. Yeah, nobody's allowed to enter. You can stand outside and look at it, but it looks like it's a bit of a dodgy place to me, that as well.
It's in a bunker, isn't it?
Yes, it's in a bunker right on the just in Svalbard.
Oh, they've done that to protect all the seeds from the GMOs, haven't they?
That's all they reckon, yeah, but I reckon there's something more sinister going on up there.
Of course there is. That's what you're told, man. There's always, if you're told something, there's more to it than what you're told.
Yeah, whatever they tell you, if it's seeds, it's opposite to whatever seeds are, so...
I don't know, somewhere they've hidden the seeds, you know what I mean? They wouldn't have not kept a seed from everything. It's like Noah's Ark, probably, you know, there's a seed from everything and a code of DNA from every living thing.
Yeah, there's supposed to be, I've heard this probably 10 years ago, that there's some massive kind of station in the ocean, under the ocean, that has everything. And they have they have all the live animals as well as all the seeds. It's like the literal Noah's Ark. And that actually came out kind of in the mainstream to a certain degree. So who knows? I forget where it was located though.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't wreck and destroy absolutely everything, would you, without thinking, because they know that they're destroying everything, you know, so they're going to keep everything back. So once it's all done with, they can start again. You know?
I don't know about you, but it's getting harder and harder to shoot the moon. It's like when I even like a year and a half back, like I say, I could go out there two or three nights a week and get a good shot of the moon or whatever. Now I'm struggling. I mean, tonight you've no chance. There's that much chemtrail in the air tonight. You can just see like a little blurry light in the sky from the moon.
No, I haven't seen the new moon yet. Since the new moon,
I've seen it once. It was just a blur. It's just a blur in the sky tonight. That's the first time I've seen it, and it's been past new moon a good 4 or 5 days, I reckon. So, but like I say, that's the first time I've seen it tonight, and I'm always looking out for it. You know, I get up early to go to work, I come home late at night on the other shift, and so. But the skies, they're just terrible. Like I say, when I shot my for the moon race video, and I shot it, and it was in the daytime. It would just come in daytime, and the moon was past the meridian. I think it was 9:05 in the morning, and I didn't see the moon till 11 o'clock. So I shot it at 11 o'clock, and it was chemtrails, clouds, wind, lights. I just give in. I was out there for about 3 hours, just give in, and then obviously I waited for the month after, where it was earlier in the morning. I caught it at like I think it was like 4:30 or something. Nice clear night, luckily, and not so windy, so I got a really good shot.
Yeah, no, it's just been ruined. I don't know, people watch my time lapses, it show you what my sky's been like. Just horrendous, grey, ruined. I think we've had one blue sky for about
this
a week
year. It's been really bad, the skies, hasn't it, Stan? It's been really bad days.
Oh, they're just ruined.
Shocking.
Yeah, just ruined, isn't it? It is like, it's just disgraceful, man. There's no word for it, really. You know, it's that bad. If you live in England, you know, if you look up, you see it, you know. You can't help but see it. It's everywhere. It's not just England as well. It is.
Captain Kirk in the chat room says that he will try, Stan. He needs to sell a car. So there you go. Where are you, by the way? Just asking. He'll get that in a minute because the chat's a bit behind us.
I had an interesting book arrive through the post today. It was an original 1914 copy of Does the Earth Rotate by William Edgell. It's still in the original wax paper cover as well. It's immaculate. Yeah, well pleased with it.
All right, he's in Manchester. Captain Kirk's in Manchester. Yes, please, Captain Kirk, if you can. Dead silence now. The whole team has got their microphones off.
Oh, my cat was whinging. There's proper going on at there. I had to stay with it muted for a minute. She just gets bored of me talking to the computer. She's like, "Why aren't you talking to me?" You know, just starts
Captain
coming
Kirk
over and whinging at me.
They will definitely try, Stan.
That's cool. That's what we need. We need people out there in the chat in the world, you know, listening. Even people that are not speaking. Just go out, get a camera, put it on YouTube, and just drop me a link. You know, that you can be anonymous.
Stan, I I've done the description and that, but do you mind your email going on there so that people can write to you then?
Well, they can just comment on my video or private message me on there, you know. What I will do is I'll have to set up an email account, and then people can all email that one account, and then I know that that's just that, you know. Because if I give, I've only got one email address, so if I give that, it will just get lost in jumble because I never look at it. But if I had one that was set up just for it, I would make a conscious effort to check it.
Captain Clark says he's subbed to you already, Stan, so when he does it, he will write to you on there.
Awesome. So you just drop me a comment. I usually read the comments once a day or every other day, you know, or check my messages just to keep up to date, you know. So I am watching. If people are doing, I will be taking note, you know.
Do you know what? I copied that picture that you put up at the beginning, Stan. I'm wondering whether we need you.
You like that one that I'm showing now?
I think that, yeah, send me that one, Stan, as you've got it. But maybe we need that one.
Yeah, we do need, there's so many people now into this flat earth, you know, in the awakening. There is so many people. It's worldwide. That's why I say we need to get this stuff translated as well, so it is worldwide, so everyone has full understanding of where we are and what we're needing and what we're doing. There's probably other countries where we are, but we're just not talking to them because of the language barrier. So that's what else we need. We need translators, like, you know, just all countries, you know. We need to get this out and get the data back collected and work together. The language is not really an issue. It's the fact we haven't.
Part of the kind of this whole system I'm working with as well is be able to have it multilingual, you know, and be able to get that work done and very actively kind of putting all this information out in all the major languages so that it really can be accessed by the entire flat earth.
That's exactly it. It needs everyone to be connected somehow, all time.
Well, we are working together, aren't we? We're all working together. That's why we're here, and we're becoming better friends because we talk to each other all the time. But it's just that you need more people.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We need more people doing this. Otherwise, it's not going to progress. We're stacked. That's why I was showing you. You know, we're scraping the barrel now for Moon 360. We need more Moon 360 to continue where we're going. We can't just pull it out of thin air. We have to actually have it so we know it's real. You know, you can't fake real. But I could sit down and we could make a model over Z-Proxy can make this in VR with series map showing you how the sky works, but without the collected data to back it up. What good is it? It's just theory. We want it.
Can I just say that in the chat room, Octane says that they are a translator. So please, can you write to Stan Smith? His channel's in the description of this hangout. And then also Jerry B says, what 363 goggles does Stan recommend for someone who wears glasses?
That's a good question because I don't wear glasses. So
Jerry says, I'll work on getting a 360 camera. I'm crazy. But Jerry B, where do you live? Just asking. Where do you live, Jerry B?
See, the more people doing it, the more people will start doing it. Once we have more to show, and you know, anyone can get involved. It's like the moon tracking with the sun tracking with Antonio. There was a big turnout for that. I was really impressed. You know, even I went out in the garden, set my gnomon up, and you know, you if you want to work something out, you all have to get together and work it out. And you know, it's not going to happen without people doing it. That's what I say. Everyone can, but there's only some that do, but we need more to do. Like it's basically we're running out now of entertainment without them giving us. It's like You've Been Framed, you know, they got to give us something to show basically with my line of what we're doing with the sky, you know.
Okay, Jerry B lives in Colorado, by the way, so that's America, so that'll be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be really good. See, this is what we need, like everyone doing it, because then with like series map here with all the magnetic lines and everything, we can consider everything, we can look at everything, and when we're then plotting it, we can see how it is from their location, what ways they're facing, and then double check everything, see, and then we can see how it is actually working. Plot a map that we know is correct. But that's the other thing as well. People need the headset for the understanding. Like there must be, I would think, thinking about it, with my Samsung VR, like the Gear VR, there is a bit you can adjust on the headset on the top so you can focus it. So I would think that you can probably get away with not wearing your glasses. Obviously, you'd have to try it. But when I put it on my mum's head, she's got glasses and she took them off to try it. And I just twisted the focus on the top and she said, oh, that's better. So I would think that you can use it no matter how your eyes are, you know. But you need the headset for the understanding. You need
I'm just saying them Google glasses I had, the plastic ones I had a couple of years back when they first come out, that had a little wind thing, a bit like you got on your camera, you know, you can wind it and it just moves the lens backwards and forward, and that worked fine for mine. I wear glasses.
Yeah, that's what mine does, but mine's just they're just a plastic box like the Oculus with a chip in it, so it knows when you plug your phone in that it's plugged in and it goes onto the app, and you know, it's just a bit more refined than a bit of cardboard. That's all.
Jerry B heard that then, that Dave can use his with his glasses on, so it looks like it's all right, whichever one you have.
Yeah, they must have thought about it when. That's what I say. Like when I sat down and literally thought about it, then it was like, yeah, they must work actually. So that's what you need though. We need the data, but everyone needs to collect it, and then everyone needs the headset for the understanding of what we're showing you, basically. Be all and end all. That is it. You need two things. You need to write them down. Like Mark Sargent the other day, he even writ down, didn't he? VR headset. Made a little note. It's like, yeah, you need one.
Well, there's some big interest in the chat room, Stan. It will go out, won't it? And hopefully it brings you a few more.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And if we can get it translated from this, you know, someone can cut it down, do a quick rework, translate it in the languages and put it out, you know. I'm happy for anyone to share what I'm doing.
Can I ask you again? We've got Octane sitting in the chat room believing that he can see a curve from an aeroplane. Can you just show him again some of your pictures, Stan? I think he should see them.
What I would say while Stan's doing that is when you're on an aeroplane, yeah, the windows have to follow the body shape of the aeroplane, yeah. So when you're looking out from the window from the inside, the window is slightly concave. Yeah, was it barrel lens distortion?
Was it a curve like that? Was it Stevie's curve or not? I was just wondering. Oh.
So you imagine looking out the window, yeah, the actual bodywork of the plane is round. So would you put a flat square window on an airplane? No, you wouldn't. You'd have it slightly curved to follow the aerodynamic of the body of the plane. So when you look out of a slightly curved window, yeah, you will see a slightly curved horizon until you get your head down, like to the middle part of the actual window frame, and then you'll see it's perfectly level. Just like a fisheye lens, you're getting barrel lens distortion from a windscreen on the plane. That's the only reason why it will look slightly curved, because when you're looking out from the head height, yeah, if you're looking too high, it'll be concave. If you put your head up, it'll look obviously convex. But if you're looking smack bang in the middle, you'll notice a horizon line, yeah, which is just a line where the sky meets the ground, yeah. An invisible line is perfectly flat, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, there's your horizon, flat, level. Go to any beach, look left, look right, it's flat.
Exactly, and if you go and look at the piggy cam, where it goes up to 121,000 feet, and they use a gimbal to balance the fisheye lens in the middle of the screen, what you'll see is it looks absolutely perfectly flat all the time until the balloon actually pops, and then you start seeing the concavity and the convexity of the actual lens. But when it's actually just floating around at 120,000 feet, it's perfectly flat, level horizon at eye level.
Yeah, I suppose in this way, Stan, it's really sad that people don't realise that that's what their sky's like.
Well, that's why I'm
my eyes, Stan. You've opened my eyes a lot.
That's why I'm here, like, you know, tonight. You know, that's why I called this to your attention the other day. I was like, look, we need to get together and push this a bit more now, because people need to see what I'm trying to show. Because, you know, you only see it. You only twig it when you work it out for yourself. You know, me telling you, it's just giving you the tools to go and work it out.
Right then, guys, I'm going to have to love you and leave you. It's
One second. Mike, looks like Mike's going, so come back for your flat earth hug. You boys, come back if you're leaving.
Give my big old hug. Come on, bring it in.
Flat earth hug.
Bring it in.
Just put my camera back. Yay.
All right. Thank you, everyone. So it's always a pleasure. Stan, amazing work. Amazing work. David, awesome work too.
Yay,
And,
I just undo Stan because otherwise no one can see that we're giving you a hug.
oh, let's go. Big hug, everyone. I just want to take away, the media kills us the most on the azimuthal equidistant Gleason. That's what they go for. The ice. Flat earthers believe there is an ice wall that nobody has ever seen before. And I really just would like to remove that map out of people's minds because it's propagated by the Flat Earth Society. There's a great idea in old Zedic Flat Earth, but now we have better tools of measurements. We can do a lot better than just a circle ice wall map. So
sorry, everybody saw it.
Everybody.
So thank you for coming on. And
God bless. And I'm going to catch the rest of this later. All right.
Oh, good talking to you, man.
Yeah, take care, everybody. Keep your eyes out for my video. I'm going to try and finish it for the beginning of November, hopefully. Like I say, I'm going to be using the scientific method, so I'm going to be sticking to the proper scientific method and not deviating from it and actually following it through that process. So keep your eyes out.
Try to remove all the specation, right, David?
Yes, exactly.
All right.
Real data from real people.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
see you. Aaron, are you still there? Just pop off for a couple of minutes.
I'm here.
Well, we've been going nearly for 3 hours now. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I just want to thank you guys for all doing this. It's an honor to be a part of this group. I really want my overall goal is to create a place for us to be able to really dig into this kind of work, even as a sort of behind the scenes portal that then opens up into more of a public directory of all this information, so that we can really collectively, as we all grow, as the flat Earth community as it grows and really becomes more, I would say, the true science. That we can kind of act as the core team to really keep this, keep it purely scientific. We're not making any assumptions here, and I really appreciate that you guys have all been working from that perspective, because that's, I think, what we really need to focus on in order to really do this the right way and not make the same mistake that we've made over the last however long it's been.
Well, you're going to come back and do another night with this and sort of move it on a bit, aren't you? About like the bank, the money and stuff like that, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm.
Okay, we've got that. We'll arrange that one with you.
Okay, perfect.
Pleasure to have you on Sun and Moon. Thank you. Series, you've got anything to say?
No, not really. It was a good night at least. I think, the 360 is going to be a huge database to go through, but it will confirm reality, because everything is out of reality. And that's where we try to figure it out from. Because reality tells what it is and not our fantasies in that sense.
Yeah, just what Siri said then, that literally sums it up, doesn't it, really? This reality, you're putting a camera out, you're filming what is above your head, and then you're working with what's above your head rather than your dream world. This is what I'm presenting now, that picture. You see it. This is what I'm doing for you all, giving you all the knowledge that you need to think. Everyone needs to do this, I think that sums up quite a bit there. It needs change. The time is now.
The time is now.
That's what I say with the UTC time as well. You need it uploaded in UTC, because it's not 6 hours. When I'm talking to Series, he's not 2 hours behind me, is he? He's now. The time is literally now. It's not then. It's now.
It's all. It's UTC is just one time for the whole world.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah. No longer that confusion of converting one to the other. Summertime, all that stuff.
Can I just say that, Dan, we've asked Aaron to come back, and he's going to do another evening because he's promoting and pushing what he wants to do. So I'm offering the same to you, maybe in a week or two's time, to come back and say this again to everyone.
Oh, I'm muted. Yeah, definitely.
That's brilliant. And Patricia, have you got anything to say, my darling? Oh, maybe she's gone. I don't know. Maybe she's fallen asleep or something. Patricia. do you think it's about time that we ended the hangout right now?
Yeah, we can end. I was just trying to find a another picture. You know that one you sent me series with the circles? It's like what I think, and then what I can put into words, and then what I tell people, and then what people understand. That is what is, we need to make everyone understand like what we are doing. Otherwise, what we're doing is pointless. Really, that's goal number one.
Getting on the level of seeing it, that way there, in that sense, the biggest circle. That's what you try to explain, and it's so a long way to get from that 3D into the 7D.
Yeah.
Well,
Especially
ladies and gentlemen, sorry. We will have another evening with Aaron, and we will have another evening with Stan. Push this forward again. Thanks so much for being on this hangout and explaining, Stan. I hope you get some people to you now and helping. But like I said, when you've bought this other one, you can put the camera up in my house, okay?
Right.
Location.
Yeah, we'll move it around. We can it can be a free for all with that one. Just go wild. I'm surprised it's still going. Actually, it's been up in the winter and the summer, like hottest day of the year. It was up there. It didn't actually turn off. The thing that kept letting me down was the laptop kept crashing and I'll lose connection to it, and then it'd stop recording. That was the laptop was overheating before the camera, which was surprising for a £60 camera.
Oh.
But yeah, cheers for tonight.
Well, to everybody on the panel, another flat earth hug, and to everybody that's been watching in the chat room, and for everybody that will watch this hangout later on, thank you so much. Lots of flat earth hugs, and get some people writing, and also the same for Aaron. Very much for being on this hangout and everybody else. And we're back on Thursday with Survive. And Stan, maybe you want to be on that one. Maybe Aaron, you want to be on that one, because these are also things we can stay to thrive and survive.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay then. See you Thursday, everybody. Thank you very much for watching, everybody.
Bye. Take care.